Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you tune in today. This is Concerned Citizen of South Sudan going live. It is Saturday, February 19, 2022. Very pressing issues that we are going to address tonight in our program. The current political development in the country. التطورات الراهنة في البلاد. Not only that, we will be focusing and asking so many questions. Communal violence, Twitch, Ngok, Ruwing, Unity State, Jungle State, Pibor, and part of Equatoria region. Also, we will discuss President Salva Kiir's visit to UAE, the Emirates. And also on the program, a statement by General Kwalmanyang Jok, indicating that President Kiir, you must step aside to allow this nation to flourish. We will address that also, make more analysis on it. And Dr. Elia Lamoro asking the citizen in the country to contribute or to pay money in order to implement peace agreement. I may wonder how many months or how many years left on the peace agreement, Khartoum peace agreement. Of course, has expired long time ago. And we have talked about it long time ago. That actually was not meant to be implemented, and it will not be implemented. So my dear brothers and sisters, countrymen, countrywomen, I welcome all of you to this humble forum of concerned citizens of South Sudan. We will have in our program tonight the great writer and journalist, Ustaz Dengdi Ayog, will join us momentarily here. Also, economist Moses Adwot will join us as well. And the chairperson of United Citizen for Change, Ustaz Walatak, also is going to be in the program. And don't forget, Ustaz Abdullah Garang Kirdeng will be here also, and he will be talking more about the election. What is it? The government has been always talking about the election. Election and election and election. And we are not seeing any progress so far from their end. Citizens are out of the country. There is no law, no permanent constitution, and yet they have been talking about this. And also, we will pose a very important question also in the middle of our program tonight. The big question that I'm going to ask, particularly, Ustaz Wal Dengatak, I'm going to ask a question that, do the elites in the government represent their ethnics, or do they represent their tribes within the government of South Sudan? That's the big question actually we are going to ask tonight. So please go ahead and share our live broadcast. And I wanted to let you know as well, we are live on this forum concerned citizen of South Sudan on Facebook. At the same time, we are on Clubhouse. We have some moderators there. We have Ustaza Ayuen Atharbe is moderating. When we are done here, we will continue on the Clubhouse. I encourage more people to come and tune in and watch the concerned citizens of South Sudan. The only place for the truth. You will get more here. We wanted to fresh your mind tonight. So go ahead, please, and share while we are waiting for our guests to tune in. Again, statement by General Kwalmanyang Jok, and we have been saying this for quite a long, that actually this country, in order to move forward, a national dialogue steering committee have also said that in order for this country to move forward, the head of the state, the president, and the vice president must step aside if South Sudan has to move forward. We are not seeing any moving. There is no peace, there is no stability, there is no security in the country, just killing across the country. Not too long ago, now you are hearing that the communal violence escalated. You've seen that happening between the community of Kwach and those of Ngok, of Abyei, in the area of Anet. Not only that, in Jonglei State, not too long, you have seen the death ordinary people are killing. And of course, it's not something that new, because President of the Republic, President Salva Kiir, have expressed actually for not being part of this or not going to help people of South Sudan, whether they are fighting or not. He's not going to involve. He will let them fight until they, suffer and suffer and suffer. So we have been saying a lot here, and advocates in the social media, is because we care, and we care big time for this beautiful Republic of South Sudan. So with that, I want to welcome my dear brother, Ustaz Dengdi Ayog. I think he's preparing to come here. And if you are not able to make it here on the Facebook, actually, I will love for them also, those who are in Juba, to tune in on the Clubhouse. If you do have a Clubhouse, tune in, please, and continue the conversation. You may also send your comment through Clubhouse or through the Facebook here live. Thank you. Let me go ahead and express this. Ustaz Abdullah Garang, if you are ready, you may come in as well, and we will continue. Not only that, let me go ahead and play clips from the commission of the election in South Sudan. Commission of election, Bangkok, Akok. This is election commission. Let me go ahead and play his statement not too long ago on the radio Tamazic when he was interviewed. Just bear with me and listen what he has said right there.
الفترة الانتقالية خلاص شارفت للانتهاء والحكومة بدأت تتكلم عن الانتخابات. فسعيدين جدا إنه نستضيف في حوارنا سيد أبندقو أكوك، وهو أكيد حيكلمنا كثير عن مجريات الأحداث وعن الانتخابات القادمة. إذا مع بعض مستمعينا خلونا نرحب بسيد أبندقو أكوك. إذا مرحبا بك أكوك، وإنت معانا ضيف في إذاعة تمازج. مرحبا بك. بداية زي ما أنا ذكرت في البداية، الفترة الانتقالية خلاص شارفت للانتهاء والحكومة بدأت تتكلم عن الانتخابات اللي كلنا عارفين إنه حسب الاتفاقية من المفترض تكون في انتخابات بعد الفترة الانتقالية. أنت كرئيس لمفوضية الانتخابات، هل الانتخابات فعلا قائم في الموعد بتاعه المحدد حسب الاتفاقية؟ اتفضل.
والله الانتخابات لازم يقوموا زمن بتاعه محدد، لأنه الاتفاقية السلام عدد الأيام في الاتفاقية بقول 60 يوم قبل نهاية شهور السلام لازم يجري انتخابات. ده حاجة لا كده غلو في الاتفاقية.
60 يوم قبل النهاية بتاعت الفترة الانتقالية؟
60 يوم قبل نهاية الفترة الانتقالية. يعني معناه لازم يكون في جدول. جدول بمشي لغاية 2022 شهر 12 تنتهي الزمن المعدد أيام شهور الانتخابية. بعد ذلك يجي الانتخابات.
شو حتى المتوقع الانتخابات بيكون 200 exactly؟
الانتخابات لو مثلا 34 شهر بمشي لنا لغاية ديسمبر 2022.
ديسمبر
ده بعد كده باقي 60 يوم ممكن يجي يصير انتخابات.
اوكي.
فده يعني انا بشوفك سؤال هسه بيقدم جميل جدا عشان يعني ده تنبيه للغاده بتاعت الدوله سياسيين في البرلمان وفي السلطه التنفيذيه وفي الاحزاب وفي المجتمع المدني، لانه الانتخابات لازم يجري على حسب اتفاقيات المنشط بدايه عام 2022 شهر 12 لقدام بقى 60 يوم بيقولوا يجي الانتخابات.
اوكي.
فاذا التنوير اليوم مهم جدا، لانه انا كنت مفكر لانه باقي يعني على حسب الاتفاقيه يكون في ناس بتابعوا في ناس بتابعوا الايام دي بتقع عشان الناس ما يتفاجئوا. المفروض من الان يكون في نوع من النشاط مخصص نشاط للتنظيم وللاستعداد للانتخابات. وده عمل سياسي بجمهور الاحزاب.
نعم. طيب سيد أبنديغو، انت كرئيس بتاعت الانتخابات، يعني معروف انه قبل الانتخابات يعني في حاجات اساسيه لازم يتعمل، زي مثلا التعداد السكاني، وبعد ذاك عندنا يمكن عندنا لاجئين كتار في دول، وعندنا ناس كثير في المخيمات لسه ما طلعوا من المخيمات، وفي حاجات كثيره من المفترض تتوفر. انت شايف انه يعني كل الحاجات دي ممكن تتعامل في خلال الفتره البسيطه المتبقيه ده والانتخابات تقوم؟
والله يا أخوة العزيزة، الموضوع مش النازيين، الموضوع على سبيل التبعية المنشط. بقول الدستور ده عمل تنفيذي، عمل سياسي عشان يقدر يدير البلد. كل شيء منتهي بالدستور. مثلا الاتفاقية بقول في قانون الانتخابات 2012 لازم يكون في تعديل دستوري، وفي اشياء عملناها خلاص وصلناهم لجمك، وجمك عايشين يوديهم للعدل، والعدل يوديهم لمجنونها، ومجنونها همشي للبرلمان. ده مهم جدا. اثنين، بقول انا انه المفروض انتخابات جنوب السودان لازم تتأسس تأسيس جديد، يعني يكون في ريكونستيتيوشن اوف ذا كوميشن. ده كله برضه ده حاجه مهم يرينوا على عبر الدستور ده بعد ما تجيز البرلمان الانتخابات 2022 على حسب البرلمان القديم ده خلاص هي يكون في تأسيس المفوضية ثاني على حسب الاتفاقية. ده مرحلة. المرحلة الثانية، وده مرحلة طبعا ما بخصوصية بخصوص الغادة، هي المرحلة الأمنية، يكون في يعني استيعاب القوات المشترك وياخذ موقعه في الدولة.
نعم.
ده عمل أمني بتاع السلطات العليا. ما ده ما شغلنا نحن. يكون في نوع من بيجي بكرامة الأخرى، لأنه النازيين من الدول المجاورة ديل لازم يجيبوهم يقنعوهم يقول لهم خلاص. ده برضه عمل مشترك بين الحكومة والأمم المتحدة ودول إيجاد. يقولوا النازيين ديل يجيبوهم يرجعوهم للدولة.
نعم.
ده كله نشاط بين مربوط مع الجماعة يا أبو العزيزة.
نعم. طيب انت ذكرت نقطة مهم جدا سيد أبنديغو، انه النازحين لازم يرجعوا، وبعد ذاك حتى القوات المشتركة يتم دمج القوات، وكمان التخريج. يمكن ده من ضمن القضايا الشائكة والعالقة حتى الآن من ضمن بنود الاتفاقية بتاعت السلام المنشط، ما تم تنفيذه. يعني حتى الآن احنا بنتكلم ما تم تخريج القوات، ما تم دمجهم، ما عندنا جيش موحد أو مشترك، فما معروف كيف حيتم 200. السؤال بتاعي، وزي ما انت ذكرت انه طبعا
والله يا اخو النكايه
ده مش يعني بتاعكم زي ما انت ذكرت.
النكايه ده ما عندنا فيه يد كمفوضيه.
يس بالضبط.
لكن كدوله
خلينا ناخذ السؤال معلش. بالضبط. أيوة. زي ما انت ذكرت انه ده مش يعني بتاعكم، لكن ان كيس كويس ما تم تخريج القوات، ما تم دمجهم، ما في جيش موحد لحد الزمن بتاع الانتخابات، هل انتم كمفوضيه بتاع الانتخابات هتمشوا قدام بالانتخابات ولا ما هيحصل؟
لا، ما يقدر يا ابو العزيزه السودة السياسيه.
نعم.
وانا مبسوط منك شديد الليله ده كده نتبادل. يعني الليله ده المفروض الدوله يقوم بالسودة بتاعه. ده مسؤوليه الدوله. يكون الامن، يأسس الامن الدولي.
نعم.
في حاجه موجوده عن الانتخابات. يعني ده مسؤوليه الدوله. اثنين، ده اراده سياسيه يا ابو العزيز. لو في اراده سياسيه في الناس الارض المشترك ده، فلذلك هي حاجه بقول بالصوره السهله جدا.
أستاذ عبد الله قرن, welcome to Concern Citizen of South Sudan. أنا عارف ربما أستاذ دنجي يكون عنده difficulties في network because أنا سرستلت له البتاع ده. أهلا بك. كنا يفترض أن نبدأ بأسئلة أخرى يعني متعلقة بالوضع السياسي, الكوميونيال فايلنس, تويتش, نوك, روينج, Unity State, Jungule, and Bibor, and part of Equatoria. Violence is erupted everywhere in the country. And also President Kiir's visit to United Emirates, and a statement by General Kwame Nyanjuk that President Kiir, this is the right time, step aside, please, let this country move forward because we have not seen any progress. As well as a statement by Dr. Elia Lomoro asking the citizen to contribute so they can start implementing peace agreement. أستاذ عبد الله قرن, أنت سمعت كلام بتاع السيد كميشن بتاع الانتخابات. طبعا كلامه زاد ما قدرنا نفهم كويس, أنا بدور حول السؤال الواحد. والأستاذ المحترمة في إذاعة التمازج بتسأل إنه مش في حاجات المفروض تتم, يكون في إعداد, يكون في دستور, يكون في حاجات دي كلها تتم قبل ما to rush to the conclusion for the election, but he's not giving us solid. At the end of the day, at the end, قاعد يقول قال يا أخي ما في الأشياء دي ما في أيدينا, في أيدي من, والانتخابات المفروض تكون كيف؟ عمر الاتفاقية انتهى. ماذا اللي كان يفترض أن يحدث قبل ده كله؟ أستاذ عبد الله قرن, أهلا بك مرة أخرى. فوديوم يورز, تفضل.
شكرا جزيلا. أنت سامع صوتي كده؟
يا بس عليه شوية.
اوكي
you good, go ahead.
انا بحاول انه نعمل كونكت في كلاب هاوس عشان الكلاب هاوس يسمع, لكن بيعمل تردد في الصوت.
اوكي
الاخ جوكر, شكرا جزيلا.
انت اطلع من كلاب هاوس completely, you don't need to be there. انا I'm already there.
اوكي شكرا جزيلا الاخ جونكور مايور. انت جبت توبيك مهم جدا جدا, هي قضيه بتاعت الانتخابات. طبعا احنا سمعنا الحكومه بتتكلم عن الانتخابات في 2022 كالمواعيد المحدده حسب اتفاقيه السلام المنشطه بين الحكومه بتاعت جنوب السودان والمعارضه بقياده رياض منشار وسوا واخرون. لكن طبعا عشان نحن نكون واضحين, طبعا اي حاجه مفروض الغاده في جنوب السودان لما يتكلموا عن الجوانب السياسيه لازم يكونوا دقيقين جدا, لانه الانتخابات عشان تقوم هنالك جوانب فنيه ما قبل الانتخابات. طبعا انت سمعت سيد رئيس مفوضيه الانتخابات قال الانتخابات ما قائمه, وانا داير بس اتكلم في جوانب فنيه حسب تجربتي انا في السابقه. انا عملتها مع مفوضيه تعداد السكان, عملتها مع مفوضيه الانتخابات, وعملتها مع مفوضيه الاستفتاء. التعداد السكاني عشان يقوم اولا الانتخابات عشان يقوم لازم يعتمد على دوائر جغرافيه. ما في انتخابات بيقوم من غير دوائر جغرافيه.
نعم.
وما سمعنا الحكومه قالت مثلا نحن حننزل مثلا بدوائر بتاع انتخابات 2010. كويس, انت الحكومه ما ممكن تتكلم عن الانتخابات وما تتكلم عن دوائر الانتخابيه اللي هي بتنتج من التعداد السكاني. مفروض الاول انه الحكومه يتكلم عن التعداد السكاني, بعد ذاك يمشوا للانتخابات. الانتخابات عشان تقوم لازم يكون في تعداد سكاني نحدد في جنوب السودان نحن دايرين كم دائره.
نعم.
في البرلمان, والدوائر دي ما تتقسم ما لم تعرف عدد الناس كم.
تعرف عدد السكان.
بتعمل تعداد سكاني بتحدد عدد الدوائر, بتقسم السكان على حسب الدوائر الموجود. بعد ذاك بتشوف مثلا الدائره الواحده فيه كم ألف. مثلا في السودان لما كنا في السودان الموحد تقريبا الدائرة الجغرافية الواحدة فيه 127,000 شخص مسؤول دائرة انتخابية واحدة. التعداد السكاني عشان ما يقوم لابد من تدريب الكادر اللي بيعمل في التعداد السكاني. اولا تجهيز الميزانيه للتعداد السكاني، تثقيف المواطن بانه التعداد السكاني مهم وجزء من العمليه الديمقراطيه، وده بياخذ اتليست 8 شهور ل 7 شهور اذا كان الحكومه جاهزه. لكن نحن لن نسمع عن اي نوع من التعداد السكاني الان في جنوب السودان. اذا انتخابات في 2022 23 ما حيقام، في 24 ما حيقام بالمعطيات الان الموجوده امامنا. ولا حكومه بس داير يعمل استهلاك زمني لحد ما يجي 2023 ويعمل مد للرئيس ل4 سنوات قادمه. ال4 سنوات تنتهي. طبعا انت عارف قبل ما يمدوا الفتره الانتخابيه طبعا اعضاء البرلمان حياخذوا يعني حوافز كويسه كالعاده يعني. بعد ذاك يمدوا الفتره الانتقاليه للسيد الرئيس 4 سنه و4 سنه و4 سنه الى المجهول. اذا تعداد سكاني ما في انتخابات، ما في. الشيء الثاني بعد ما يتم التدريب الكادر، تجهيز المراكز بتاعت التسجيل الانتخابي او الناس اللي بيمشوا للبيوت. طبعا في مراكز فنيه، بعد ذاك المراكز الفنيه منها بتنطلق المسجلين، والمسجلين دائما بيحتاجوا لوسائل وسائل متحركه، مواتر، بوت، عربات وهكذا. بعد ما نحن انتهينا من التعداد السكاني بنمشي لحاجه اسمها مفوضيه الانتخابات. الان عندنا مفوضيه الانتخابات، والمتحدث اللي قبل شويه بينكم هو المفوض بتاع الانتخابات بتاع جنوب السودان، وهو كان تم تعيينه في 2012 كمسجل للاحزاب السياسيه ولم يعد القسم. ما اعرف الحصل شنو. الان هو اصبح مفوض للانتخابات، مدير مفوضيه الانتخابات. انا اعرفه يعني من بدري. البينكو هو زول اكاديمي، كان مدير مركز السلام في جامعه جوبا، هو بروفيسور يعني زول متيور. الان عندنا مفوضيه الانتخابات، لكن ما في احزاب سياسيه، ما في احزاب سياسيه. كويس. الفتره اللي بقي بعد مفوضيه الانتخابات هي تسجيل الاحزاب السياسيه في جنوب السودان. حتى الان ما في اي حزب مسجل قانوني في جنوب السودان، لانه ال 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 الاحزاب الان الموجوده عندنا قريب 80 حزب ولا 70 حزب ما مستوفين الشروط بتاع قانون الانتخابات ل 2012. اذا لابد من تعديل القانون او تفعيل قانون 2012 لتسجيل الاحزاب السياسيه في جنوب السودان. بعد ما انتهينا من تسجيل الاحزاب السياسيه في جنوب السودان بنمشي لتسجيل الناخبين. المواطن عشان ما يصوت لازم يتم تسجيله اولا. ما في انتخابات بيقوم من غير تسجيل. في حاجه اسمه الفتره ما قبل الانتخابات بيقولوا تسجيل الناخبين. لابد انه يتم تسجيل الناخبين، نعرف عددهم كم قبل ما نمشي الانتخابات. فالحاجات الفنيه دي مفروض دي الحاجات المفروض الحكومه تتكلم عنها، وليس على الانتخابات. الانتخابات دي لسه بعيده. بعد ما نحن مشينا لتسجيل الناخبين بعد ذاك بنمشي للانتخابات. الانتخابات برضو لابد من تدريب الكادر الذي يعمل في الانتخابات. اولا تجهيز مراكز الانتخابات، وفي حاجات ثانيه فنيه زي صناديق الاقتراع بكلف ملايين الدولارات. صناديق الاقتراع، تامين الحمله الانتخابيه، توعيه المواطن باهميه الانتخابات في جنوب السودان كجزء من حقوقه. بعد ذاك نحن بنمشي الانتخابات. فدي الحاجات الفنيه اللي بتسبق ما قبل الانتخابات. فالحديث عن الانتخابات الان في جنوب السودان ده مضيع للوقت. انا بشوفه كده يعني، لانه ما في اي الحاجات الاساسيه المفروض ان احنا نعملها او حكومه جنوب السودان تقوم بها قبل الانتخابات ما قامت بهذه الخطوات. اذا زي ما قال بنكوك يا مواطنين المستمعين، ما في انتخابات في 2022 شهر 12، ما في انتخابات في 2023، ايفن 24 انتخابات ممكن بهذا المعطيات. اذا الحكومه الان بتحاول جنكور انها تعمل تمديد
اسراع وقت،
تمديد رئاسي 4 سنوات نائب للرئيس الفكير ميادين كرئيس للجمهوريه، واحتمال برضو يعمل تمديد للنواب، يعمل تمديد لاعضاء البرلمان، وهكذا. اذا ده كلام يعني شويه كده يعني ما واضح من الحكومه الانتخابيه. اذا دورنا نحن كمثقفين في داخل جنوب السودان وخارج جنوب السودان لابد نتكلم بصوت عالي جدا عشان الحكومه تعرف انه المواطن واعي وده حقوقه. ده حتى التنفيذ بتاع اتفاق السلام الان يعني ماشي يعني بطيء جدا، لم يتم. اذا كيف الحكومه تتكلم عن انتخابات؟ فالاخ جنكور ما في انتخابات، والدور بيقوم الدور اللي بيقوم بها الان ابناء جنوب السودان ده دور مهم جدا. لابد انه الشباب داخل جنوب السودان خارج جنوب السودان يعمل الضغط على الحكومه، اما الحكومه تعمل الانتخابات ويكون في عمليه ديمقراطيه، واما الحكومه دي تمشي باي فورس ثوره شعبيه في وسائل كثيره جدا لتغيير الحكومات. لانه نحن يعني قعدنا ما فيه الكفايه من 2012 من 2011 حتى الان ما في اي تنميه حصلت في جنوب السودان، وما في اي يعني اجراءات دستوريه تمت من اجل تغيير الحكومه اللي ورثناها من انتخابات 2010. لانه الرئيس الفكير مياردي هو تم انتخابه كرئيس لاقليم جنوب السودان في 2010، وليس ولم يتم انتخابه كرئيس لجمهوريه جنوب السودان. هنالك فرق ما بين الاقليم والحكومه بتاعت الجمهوريه. فالمت كل مره 4 سنوات 4 سنوات 4 سنوات ده حاجه ده غير قانوني، واستخفاف بعقول المواطنين والتلاعب بالشباب بتاع جنوب السودان باعتبارهم ما عارفين شيء. هنالك اجيال، جيلنا نحن والجيل 2 اجيال بعدنا قادرين انه يشيلوا جنوب السودان ده ويديروه اداره افضل من الاداره الان الموجود في الفتره بتاعت الرئيس الفكير مياردي ونائبه رياض مشار وكل القاده الان الموجودين. يعني جنوب السودان بيعاني من ابسط الاشياء، والحكومه ما قادر يعني تنفذ هذه الاشياء. اذا لما يكون عندنا انتخابات، يكون عندنا برلمان منتخب، يكون عندنا رئيس منتخب، بكون he gonna be more concerned about the government we have today. لانه الان البرلمان الموجود برلمان بالتعيين، ولا هم للفكير مياردي وليس لشعب جنوب السودان او جمهوريه جنوب السودان، ولا هم للاحزاب السياسيه والافراد رشحوهم عشان يجوا لهذا المقاعد. اذا نحن دايرين انتخابات عشان يجيب برلمان موالي للشعب، برلمان موالي للحكومه، برلمان قادر انه يحفظ الامن بتاع جنوب السودان وكل محدد يعني امني سواء كان خارجيا او داخليا. عشان كده نحن يعني بنشوف انه الانتخابات الحديث الانتخابات الان هي مضيعه للوقت. الحكومه اما ان تعمل جاده تبدا بالتعداد السكاني، ثم مفوضيه الانتخابات الان موجود، ثم تسجيل الاحزاب السياسيه، تسجيل الناخبين، والتجهيز للانتخابات. كده نحن ممكن نقول الحكومه شغال بروسس، لكن الكلام اللي نحن بنسمعه ده كلام غير مسؤول من حكومه من اعضاء حكومه جمهوريه جنوب السودان.
شكرا استاذ عبد الله قرن. قبل ما انا اخليك تمشي، انا شايف استاذ دنجا ايوك جاي وانا بجيبه بعد شويه. ناهيك ان الخطوات اللي انت ذكرتها دي، انه يكون في اعداد سكاني، يكون في رسم الدوائر الجغرافيه، تمثيل صحيح في البرلمان، ودستور الدائم. الحكومه الحاليه وانا ذكرت قبل في التوبيك اللي احنا بنتكلم فيه ده، في فايلنس اللي هو في اراقه الدماء في كل ارجاء الوطن، في كوميونيون فايلنس في تويتش وفي نوك في روينج يونيتي ستيت وفي جنجولي وفي اكواتوريا وفي مناطق كثيره جدا جدا في جنوب السودان. والحكومه دي اصلا ما قادره عشان انه يعمل استتباب الامن في البلد، ما قادر انه تقدم خدمات اساسيه بيزك نسيسيتي لهيومن بينج في جنوب السودان، منها فيها يعني مويه نظيفه ومستشفى وفي الشارع في امن. فكيف ان سيم حكومه اللي خلقت الحرب حكومه اللي خلقت الحرب وخلى المواطنين تهاجر في البلد، يكونوا في معسكرات لجوء في يوغندا في كينيا وفي اثيوبيا وفي السودان المجاور. فكيف ان الحكومه دي ذاتها اللي هي ما قادره تنفذ اتفاقيه السلام اللي وقعتها في 2018 شهر 9، فانه كيف ان الحكومه دي ذاتها تتحدث عن الانتخابات؟ فهنا هي ما قادره ان توفر، وهي ما قادره تامن، وهي ما فاضيه اساسا لامن بتاعت المواطن. هل الحكومه دي يا عبد الله قرن في رايك هي اساسا مؤهله انها تتكلم عن الانتخابات ذاتها؟ وهل عندنا حكومه اصلا في جنوب السودان؟ انا جون كوريب شخصيا انا فكرت اعمل زمان ما عندنا حكومه اصلا برئاسه سلفا كده، دي ما حكومه اصلا تفضل. بعد كده انا بجيب استاذ دنجي ده.
يا شكرا جزيلا الاخ جنكور. في عنف يعني في انسكيورتي في جنوب السودان كويس. طبعا في الجنجلة قبل 4 أسابيع تقريبا او 3 أسابيع حصل شجار او صراع في الولايه بين الذين ينتمون لقبيله المورليه والدنكا. لكن ماذا فعلت الحكومه؟ ده السؤال هنا. بعد الحدث ماذا فعلت؟ الان هنالك يعني تذمر من الاحداث اللي حصلت في الجنجلي كويس، ونتوقع انه يكون مثلا في رد فعل، لكن الحكومه ما قادره توعي المواطن انه السلام ده حاجه مهمه جدا، ويشيل الجيش الموجود في جوبا الان بتعمل لحراسه الحكومه الموجوده في جوبا تمشي مناطق النزاعات. الحكومه ما قادره تدير ابسط الخلافات بين ابناء الشعب في ولايه جنجلي مثلا، ما قادره تعمل له كنترول. الحكومه ما قادره تعمل له كنترول. المشكله بتاعت الحكومه يا جنكور الان الموجود في حاجه اسمه عدم اللامبالاه. they don't care انه المواطن ده يموت يحيى، يعني المواطن ده بالنسبه له ما مهم جدا. ونحن اذا فقدنا شخص واحد من صراع قبلي او سميه ما سميته، ده رقم كبير جدا. الحصل في النت برضو ده اهمال من الحكومه، لانه هنالك مساجلات تمت كويس بين المحافظ بين الوالي والرئيس ابيي اداريه ابيي. هنالك مساجلات، هنالك تحديدات تم. مفروض الحكومه تسبق الحدث انها تؤمن الموقف وما تحصل احداث، لكن الحكومه لم تفعل شيئا لحد ما الناس ماتوا في النت. بعد ذاك ودت الجيش مثلا. اذا الحكومه ما قادره مثلا، حكومه ما قادره انها تحمي المواطن من التحديات الخارجيه. انا ما اظن انه هذه الحكومه جديره انها تدير انتخابات وتاتي بحكومه نزيهه في جنوب السودان. الحكومه دي فشلت تماما. فالجانب ده اظن دينجيت عنده تفاصيل اكثر منه، وممكن يعني يتكلم فيه بتفاصيل حسب يعني ما الكلام اللي قدمه في الكلاب هاوس الاسبوع اللي فات. دينجيت كان قدم يعني كلام يعني وضح للمواطن المشكله ذاته كانت شنو. فانا استفدت كثير من المحاضره اللي قدمه دينجيت في كلاب هاوس، وانا بقول للمواطنين في منطقه النت وفي تويتش انه يهدوا، لانه الحكومه الان الموجود he doesn't care about you. انتوا لازم تعملوا سلام في بيناتكم، لازم تحافظوا على ارواحكم، لازم تحافظوا على ممتلكاتكم من غير ما يرجوا اي دعم مثلا من الحكومه الموجود في جنوب السودان. انا شايف الحكومه ودت جيش لكن دايرين حل يعني سلمي عشان الحصل في النت ما تتكرر في المرات القادمه. شكرا.
استاذ دنجي، استاذ عبد الله قرن، اشكرك كل الشكر. نعم، انا زي ما انا قلت في الرأي، ما عندنا حكومه اصلا اللي هي جديره بانه تحل قضايا يا مشاكل الناس بتموت، ما قادره توفر خدمات اساسيه. حينما بيأجروا طائرات، انا شايف الرئيس امبارح اجر طائره روانديه، وانا الكلام ده انا كلمت فيه مرارا وتكرارا، انه دوله ذات السياده، انه رئيس دوله يمشي اجر طياره من دوله ثانيه عشان يمشي بو، ما يكون طياره مكتوب فيها جمهوريه جنوب السودان او جمهوريه السودان الجنوبي. ده بوريك على انه اساسا هو ما فاضي من يومه، ما فاضي. بس not only that, there are so many things. نحن تكلمنا نبأنا يعني before we predicted انه اساسا they are there just to buy time. قلنا كلام ده، وقلنا من لو اذنان للسمع فليسمع. قلنا كلام ده قلنا كلام ده، قلنا يا اخي ده ما سلام وما يكون سلام وما ينفس، هي بس مجرد buying time، اشتراء للوقت. وهو نجح لانه اساسا قدر انه يستخدم البنج اللي هو بيستخدمه في الاليت واخرون عشان يقعد في السلطه، لانه هدف بتاع سلفا كير انا عارفه كويس. دي mental conviction ان he wanted to remain in power until he died. That's what it is. زول يجي غالد one day يمسك اضاني كده يقول له جونجر يا كلامك ده ما صح، لكن انا I know the man want to die in power. استاذ دنجر ايوك، welcome to concern citizen of South Sudan، ورحب بك مجددا. وانا ممكن اكرر التوبيك بتاعنا اليوم، نحن هنتكلم عن communal violence, Tweet, Ngok, Ruweng in Unity State and also in Jonglei, Pibor and part of Equatoria region. زيارة الرئيس سلفا كير إلى دولة الإمارات المتحدة في أيام امبارح، و also الستيتمنت اللي أدلى بها جنرال كول منيان جوك إنه سلفا كير must step aside, and also a statement by Dr. إيليا لومورو إنه عايز دعم من الشعب إنه عشان ينفذ اتفاقية السلام. يعني ستيتمنت مضحكة جدا جدا إنك تيجي تطلب من الشعب المغلوب عليه، والسلام ده ينفذ كيف؟ السلام ده ما انتهت زمان، عمر السلام ده ما انتهت زمان. So Ustaz Dengid Ayok, welcome. أنا أرحب بك في concerned citizen of South Sudan. Please go ahead, microphone is yours. I know we start a little bit late, but it's okay. تفضل Ustaz Dengid Ayok.
Thank you, my brother Jonkor, for this grand show that you are running today for the people of South Sudan in this magnificent forum of the UCC. I greet Brother Moses. I can see him. And I welcome his presence and his participation in the show. I did not expect that Abdallah would go away. I expected that he would be still around so that we discuss
He will come back.
these issues.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that we can discuss and tackle these issues together, because the issues are many, and each one of you is informed about these issues. I greet all the viewers who are watching us through Facebook live show, and those who are listening on Clubhouse, and those who are also watching us through YouTube channel. And I say that it is good to be back and talk again about the issues facing our country. We don't come here to talk because we like talking, but we come here to speak for the people of the country. We are here to speak for all the disadvantaged group in South Sudan. We are here to speak for all those who have been displaced and for all those whose lands have been grabbed or has been settled in an illegal way after they have been killed and displaced and chased away. That is why we come here to speak. We are here to speak for the women being raped by the government forces. We are here to speak for the children moving around in Juba, in the streets of Juba, and in other minor and major towns in the country. We are here to speak for the SPDF soldiers who are roaming around in Juba begging because their salaries are not paid for months. And we are also here to speak for the civil servants who go for a month without receiving their salaries. And we are informed that the National Legislative Assembly these days is working to pass the fiscal year budget 2022. But as soon as the budget is passed, the civil servant will still go for a month without receiving their salaries, the police forces and all organized forces without receiving their salaries. This is the country that Salva Kiir is running, and his comrades and colleagues. This is the country that Waniga, Riek Machar, Mama Rebecca, Hussein Abdulbagi, and the rest of the crew in the cabinet are running. This is the country that they are running, a country where there is insecurity all over the country, a country where we see people killing themselves in Mayandi because of cattle raiding. We see people killing themselves between Unity State and Ruweng administrative area, a country where we see people going hungry in the streets of Juba begging for food, a country where there is death. In northern Bahr el Ghazal, a country where there is insecurity and instability all over Equatorial region and parts of Bahr el Ghazal as well as Upper Nile. This is the country that we come here to talk about. We are not here because we like showing our faces or because we like talking. We come here to address issues because the country is bleeding. People are displaced and the government is talking about elections. Human rights are being violated and the government is talking about elections. Women are being raped and they are talking about elections. These are the issues that we come here to talk about. So this is what I want our viewers to know and whoever watch us to know, that we are not here because we like to be here. It is because things are not going on well in the Republic of South Sudan. Well, now there are so many issues that we are tackling today, and I don't know where should I begin. Should I begin with elections or should I begin with violence? I think violence would be very good. I will speak briefly and then I think we should be exchanging role with Moses. I will speak briefly, then I will let Moses also go on to speak. And people should not worry regarding the issue of language, because we are ready to speak in any language. In South Sudan, people understand English and Arabic, so we will be using these two languages all along until the end of the show. Coming to the issue of violence, you have seen last week on February 10th and 11th and 12th, 3 consecutive days. Some people inform me that even on the 13th, February 10th was Thursday, and then Friday 11th, and then Saturday 12th, and then Sunday 13th. The last weekend, you see, the two communities, the two sisterly communities, that is Tweet Mayardit and the Ngok of Abyei area, were made to fight each other. And of course, this is a very sad thing, that these two communities are two sisterly communities. There are social relations between them, and those social relations have been there for a very long time. For centuries. They coexisted together and they intermarried. They traded together. They fought wars together. They are actually one people. But what happened on February 10th was something very sad, and it was not expected to happen because it is a very sad thing, because the people of Abyei are facing an existential threat. I call it existential threat from the northern side of Sudan, we see the Masiriya attacking the people of Abyei every year, killing 5 or 10 or sometimes 17, sometimes 2 people, 3 people, continually throughout the year. And if we are to make the statistics, you will discover that the people who have been killed among the people of Abyei by the Masiriya people since 1970s, since the signing of Addis Ababa peace agreement, and then 1980s, 1990s, coming to 2000 until we are now in 2022, if a statistic is made, then you will come to discover that the number of people killed by the Masiriya, the number of Ngok people killed by the Masiriya is a very huge number. So our brothers, the Ngok brothers, are facing a security threat, an existential threat from the side of Sudan. The government, the successive government that have been in Khartoum, have always been pushing the Masiriya and arming them to come and kill our brothers, the Ngok, in Abyei. And as a result, large areas in the northern part of Abyei, people have been displaced in those areas, and those areas remain laid waste, and they are empty, and they are occupied by the Masiriya people. And when I talk about this, I'm not talking about something that I have heard from people. I'm talking about something that I have seen, because I traveled to Abyei 5 times between 2005 and 2010. I traveled to Abyei, and I saw the northern part. I even went as far as to the village of Dengalor, who is now the Minister of East African Affairs in the government. I passed through his village, and I was told that this is the village where Dengalor hails from. I went as far as to areas that are in the northern part. There is an area that is called Kej. In the Ngok Dinka, call it Kej, but the Masiriya have changed the name. They call it Difra, you see, and many other areas. So when I say that the northern part of Abyei, which is a land of Ngok Dinka, are displaced, it is not an assumption. It is not based on assumption. It is based on something that I know, something that I have seen with my naked eyes. So this is now a very big concern for all of us, that these brothers of ours are being killed, deliberately killed by the Masiriya, and the Masiriya are armed by the central government that is in Khartoum. All the successive government, including the present one. So at the time when these people of Ngok have been facing a threat by the Masiriya, nobody expect that their own fellow South Sudanese would backbite them, would attack them, and kill them, burn down the villages, and burn down the market in the areas of Anet and the areas of Agog. This is very bad, because as we speak here, the blood of these 2 communities is one blood, because the people of Ngok have come and they have taken for themselves daughters from Twitch. They have taken them as their wives. The same people also, people from Twitch, have gone to Ngok and they have taken themselves daughters of Ngok as their wives. And so you can see people are one. According to our traditions, when you get married to my sister, it means we are now one. So marriage unite people. It brings people together. All right? Yeah. So it is a very sad thing that these one people are fighting each other. Now you can imagine, try to imagine, what is the feeling of those Ngok children whose their mothers are from Twitch when this thing happened. Imagine also the Twitch sons are from Ngok. What is their feeling when these things happen on the 10th and on the 11th and on the 12th and on the 13th? Just imagine what was their feeling. Traditionally, when there is a fighting between 2 communities, people take sides. Now imagine, which side did they take? Should they fight against their uncles from Twitch or their uncles from Mob? They were put into a very confusing situation and a very awkward situation, by the way. So it is something very sad. So people who are one should not fight. Twitch and Ngok are brothers, and we don't encourage any further violence and further escalation between the two countries. We have seen people writing on social media, and they were like threatening people from the side, from both sides, threatening each other that we are ready to fight. And this is not good. We are one people, dear brothers. Violence should not be encouraged. Vengeance should not be encouraged, because we are one people. We are supposed to unite ourselves and face whatever coming from outside, not us fighting ourselves. You know that there is an African proverb which says, when the brothers fight, it is the strangers that inherited their land. So this is what we are doing. Now we are fighting among ourselves. When we finish ourselves, it is the strangers that will come and inherit our land. So let us stop fighting so that we remain together, so that our land is maintained, so that we maintain our land and we remain in our land. Last week, I talked about this issue, and that is what I was saying on the documents before the violence happened. There were documents issued by the government. All those documents were issued by the government, by the way. The government at 3 levels, starting from the local government or local government, that is at the county level, and then at the state level, and then at the national level, in the National Legislative Assembly. So those documents are a proof that the government is the one behind what happened in Anet and in Agok, but it should not happen. So this government that is in Juba, this government that is extended from Juba to states, and then extended from state to the local levels, is a criminal. It is this government that is inciting people to kill each other. It is this same government that is agitating the citizens to fight against each other. So the government is responsible for what happened in Anet. It is the same government that is responsible for what happened in other areas. So people should not tarnish the relations, the very good relations that happened. Now, you would all remember that recently, a great and important spiritual leader from Tweet passed away in a Nairobi hospital. That is a Jingdit. Soon after he passed away, Dr. Francis Deng Mading, Dr. Francis Mading Deng, wrote a very nice article. And in that article, he recognizes the historical ties or relations between the two people, the Ngok and the Twitch. And I can read some part of the article. He said, "It is with profound sorrow that I have just learned of the tragic passing away of the great spiritual leader, Ajing Dideng Chiedid, from the Twitch of Adiang. 3 years ago, I went with my brother and friend, Bona Malwal Madudring, to Turale and on to his village at Malbong, that is Molbang, to attend the burials of his tragically assassinated brother, Paramount Chief Wounded Madudring of Twitch Mayardit. That was when I had the great honor and pleasure of accompanying Bona Malwal on a visit to the great spiritual leader in his home at Matiang. When Bona first informed me of the plan for the visit, the idea itself was intriguing, surprise and curiosity. So you see, Dr. Francis Mading Ding is expressing his sorrow over the death of the late spiritual leader, from the great spiritual leader of Twitch when he died in Nairobi, Ajing Dit. And you all know that Ajing is a great spiritual leader who has been watching all nights since he was made to be the spiritual leader of his community. He has been watching throughout nights, overseeing the spiritual well-beings of his people. And when he passed away, it was a great loss to Twitch Mayardit as a community, and it was a great loss to the people of South Sudan at large. So Francis was expressing his profound sorrow and sadness after having learned of the passing on of Ajing Deng Shirdit, who is from Adiang section of Twitch Mayardit. So now he went on to say this on the relations between the two communities. And I have to read this so that people understand the ties that are between these two communities. It is very important so that people understand. He said this: I had, of course, heard of the awesome spiritual powers of Ajing's grandfather, the prophet Chedid, whose prophetic name means the Great Crescent. Chedid's spiritual leadership was renowned throughout Dinka land. Ajing appeared in his colorful grabs, wearing a distinctive hat with an array of beads and shells hanging on his neck as an insignia of his status, and holding a decorated spear, a symbol of his spiritual power, the manner in which we receive under a huge ring-like tree that seemed uniquely sculptured by nature, the spiritually charged atmosphere surrounding the revered leader, and the elaborated rituals of blessing accorded us in his religiously ornamented heart left me in a great awe about our spiritual traditions and values that have been severely undermined by modernity. So you see, he's talking about Ajing, describing him and the way they have been received and the blessings and his thoughts and opinion on how modernity has corrupted our spiritual or our traditional or indigenous spiritual system. So this one is very important. Now he went on to say this: to begin with, I deeply admire Bona Malwal's recognitions and high regard for spiritual leaders, which contributed immensely to my own defense for them. The fact that they both said they had heard of me and spoke so highly of Ngok Dinka leaders in my own family was very humbling to me. It was, however, not entirely surprising, since there has been intermarriage between our respective families. Mayar Chirdi, the son of the prophet, was married to our sister Nyanyok. The spectacular ceremony, which I witnessed as a child, Mayar had become more of a political figure than a mere spiritual leader, and was arrested and detained in Wau town during the first civil war, when Bona Malwal, then a senior government official in Wau, offered him discreet protection in his house. So you can see here that Francis Mading Ding is expressing his admiration to how Bona Malwal recognized the traditional or the indigenous spiritual system of our people. And he mentioned here that between the two families, the family of Deng Majok and the family of Cherdit, that the son of Cherdit, the son of the prophet Cherdit, whose name is Mayar here, is married to their own sister by the name of Nyanyok. So you can see how these two communities are one in the word of Professor and Dr. Francis Mading Deng. So that's why I said earlier that these two communities are one and they should not fight one another. This is very important. We encourage the social relations between the two communities, and we condemn the government of the Republic of South Sudan for inciting violence. Because I have the documents. I don't want to read them now, but the documents are there and we can send them to whoever is willing. The first document was the one that was written by Tweed County Commissioner. And then the second one is the reply to that letter by Tweed County Commissioner, by the reply of General Kwal Dem Kwal, who is the chief administrator of a BA Special Administrative Area, to allow Alena Yeng,
the governor of Warab.
The governor of Warab State. And then the third letter is the one from the members of the National Legislative Assembly, who emanates from Tweed County, writing to Kwal Dem directly, telling him that what the commissioner wrote was under our influence, and that you have to stop all the activities of survey in the area before things get out of control. So you can see the language. They were saying that things would get out of control if the survey in a net and a GOG was not stopped. And this was a clear language of violence. It was expressing their intentions that they were coordinating secretly violence against the people. So when the members, the MPs at the national level speak in such a language, what would we say? We would say definitely that the government is behind that violence. Also, when you read the Ajakwaj statement, the community of Ajakwaj wrote also a statement to Kwal Dem Kwal, who is the chief administrator of ABI, telling him that you have to stop all the activities of survey in that area. Otherwise, you will face the consequences. But I don't want to blame the citizens now from both sides, whether from Tweed or from Ngok, because we are not here to blame anyone. We are here to talk about what caused the problem and who are behind the problem. Who are the perpetrators? Who are the engineers of the problem? The engineer and the perpetrator of the problem is the government of the Republic of South Sudan. Because when the commissioner was writing to General Kwal Dem Kwal, all the security apparatuses were there. They read all the statement and they did nothing. And I really wonder, are they really security people? Because when you are security minded, when you read something that is a threat to security, you have to take it very seriously. If somebody said, I will slap you, and you are a security person, you have to take that one seriously, although the action is not yet taken, because the action will be definitely taken. This is the issue. Now, what was the cause of the fight? The cause of the fight was the demarcation that General Kwal Dem Kwal was trying to carry out in a net area as well as in a GOG area. And I know a net, by the way. I passed there several times as I was traveling by land from Khartoum to Warab. So I know the area very well. So this one is the cause of
the fight.
Is the cause of what? Is the cause of the conflicts that happened. Another thing that we have to understand, there is a dispute. It is a land dispute. The issue is all about land dispute. The land of a net and Agok is a disputed land between the two communities. The members of Ngok community say that this land is their own land and it belongs to them. And the members of Twi say it is their land and it belongs to them. And so you can see this one generate disputes. Now in the documents, in some of those documents that were written by the government, the national MPs mentioned in their document to General Kwal Dem Kwal, saying that this land belongs to Tweed County and it was given to the people of Ngok in 2002 and 2003 at the time when Deng Alor Kwal was the governor of Bahr al Ghazal region. It was given to them as an area that can accommodate them as refugees because they were facing insecurity in their own area. And then when you read General Kwal Dem Kwal's letter, he refuted this So someone is saying that this is my area, it belongs to me, and those people of the Ngok who are there were just accommodated because of insecurity in their area. And then the other one is saying, no, it is my land and it belongs to me. So you can understand that it is a dispute between the two communities. Okay, when there are disputes over land or over ownership of land, how do we solve those issues? Do we take law into our own hands as it happened? And sadly, it is the government that is supposed to impose law that have taken the law into its own hand and killing the civilian in the area. When there is a dispute over land ownership, the correct way to solve the problem is not taking the law into our own hands or agitating the civilian to kill each other. No, that is not how it is solved. In the Constitution, we have the national legislature. The national legislature has two branches or two houses. We have what is called National Legislative Assembly, and we have another that is the upper house, and we have another house that is called the Council of State, which is the lower house of the national legislature. Now, the lower house is the one responsible for the resolutions over the issue of borders and over and also the issue of disputes over land in South Sudan. When there are disputes between civilians over land, then the Council of State has to take care about this and demarcate the borders, because the Constitution mandated the lower house to be the one mitigating disputes or the conflict between the civilian over the issue of land. They are the one to take care of this and demarcate the border and separate between the two communities who are about to fight each other. This is solution number one. Solution number two, if the Council of State did not find a solution to this problem, then the next step is that members of the two communities or representative of the two communities have to come with the historical facts in terms of documents. And then the case is taken to a specialized court of law. And then the two communities or the representative of two communities are given a chance to present facts regarding the land ownership. And then the court of law would pass the final verdict based on the historical facts that have been presented in the documents. This is how it is done. It is not done by the government agitating the civilian to take law into their own hands, or by seeing people issuing a statement in which there is a threat to security and then the government keep quiet. Aleho kept quiet. When General Kwal wrote him a letter complaining that your county commissioner of Tweed has written to me in a very bad language and that he is not supposed to write to me directly, the letter is supposed to come from you. Aleho kept quiet. He held his peace. He was supposed to intervene with his security apparatus and stop things before they get out of control. Yes, Jonko?
I'm saying that maybe he was entertained, actually. He is behind the scenes. What happening?
Yes.
Why would he?
Yes.
Of course, he's going to remain silent.
And then the second day after the violence erupted in Anet, he met the president and he lied to the media. He said what happened in Anet was by an unknown gunman and the situation is under control. First he said this one was perpetuated by unknown gunmen. Allah ya lew inta btahzir ma'ana unknown gunmen? Ma fi kalam zeda. These are not unknown gunmen. Ma ne hazad irifna inu unknown gunmen the government. Ya Jonko Moses. Unknown government gunmen del bugulu fi South Sudan. Jina irifna fi akhir lahza inu de hukuma zat. So namana lew gal unknown gunmen gas dinu de hukuma del militiat bitaadna ya amalul kalam da. It is their own militias because unknown gunmen are members of the government. They have killed Isaiah Abraham, and they continue to kill so many people in Juba and in different parts of the country. Those are non-gunmen. Those are non-gunmen, dear brothers who are listening, whether in Clubhouse or here on Facebook or on YouTube. They are non-gunmen that are going on rampage in South Sudan, killing people, causing insecurity, displacing people. This is the government of the Republic of South Sudan. It must be made clear tonight so that people can know. So that was a lie. He said the situation is under control. The situation was not under control because on the 11th, which was Friday, when he was speaking to the president, people were on rampage. People were on rampage, killing one another in a net on Friday. And then Saturday, the 12th, it continued. Then Sunday, the 13th, it continued. Was the situation under control? That was a lie. If there was a true government in the Republic of South Sudan, Aleu should have been relieved from his position as governor.
You know,
but because it is the government that is behind this, the president kept quiet, although he knew that his governor has lied to him and that the situation was not under control and that the civilians were still going on killing one another over land dispute. Yes, Jonkor.
You know, what troubling me most about this case is the 10 MPs on the National Legislative Assembly from the area. They are not 10.
They are not 10. They are 19 in number.
19, sorry.
Nyandeng Malek is one of them, the former governor. Imagine, Jonkor, Nyandeng Malek.
That's what troubling me, Nyandeng Malek, as a mother. She's the former governor as a mother. And actually, to be honest with you, I have my opinion on this. What I know so far about these issues of a net, we all know, you know, it's the fight is all about financial issues because the taxation that goes from there, from a net to...
Yes, I was coming to say this. Thank you, you brought it up. Go ahead.
You know, and that's what it is. I know personally Anet is belong to. It's the area of Twitch. We know this. You know, brothers from Twitch, they accommodated people from ABA in that area. My disagreement with those, you know, MPs and the Twitch actually is the way that the issue has been addressed. You can't go because you have a differences with your brother and go and mobilize youth, you know, in the neighborhood and say, go, because we have tried this, we have tried with Qualdim, we have tried with the commissioner of a net, and we didn't get any result. Just go and cause violence and kill them and burn the market, and then maybe this issue will be resolved. That's not how you solve the problem. We know it's your land, okay? But you don't go and kill them. You don't go and kill. These are the people, your brothers. Yesterday, you welcome them to stay here. Okay, this issue, it should have been addressed in a right manner. That's my only concern, and that's my only, you know, problem with them. The way they address it, it's not good at all. And Nyandeng Malek can sign on this. A mother can sign on this. And you agree to mobilize youth from the area to go and fight and kill people? Absolutely ludicrous, you know. Continue with something so we can give Moses a chance.
Yeah, those who have signed are number one, Honorable Charles Majang Alerding. Majang Alerding. Majang Alerding, for your information, is a member of JCE, Jiang Council of Elders. So you see how Jiang Council of Elders are the one killing the people of South Sudan. Charles Majang Alerding, he signed the document. Number two, Honorable Dr. Majang Yak Majak, he also signed. Number three, Victoria Adar Arop. You know, this is Mama Dardit. Mama Dardit is an MP in Juba.
She's an MP. And she's
the mother of the Red Army, mother of Jejamar.
Yeah.
She did not sign here. Her name is here on the document, but she did not put her signature.
Which is good.
But Charles Majak has signed. Dr. Majang Yak Majak has signed. And then number four is Justice. I don't know who is this. I cannot see it clearly. Justice Angering, she also signed. And then Honorable Nyandeng Maleng Dielich, she signed here.
Sister Clara.
This is number five.
We have to tell
she signed the document.
You know.
And then there are others like Elizabeth. Elizabeth Ashwayo, the Minister of Health, she signed the document here. We have Ayan Lukangor, but she did not sign. We have Mayom Koj Malik. Last week I said Mayom Koj Malik is a friend of my own father, my late father, Ayong Deng Agor. This man is a friend of my father. He signed the document. And then we have Nyandeng Kirbino Kwanyin. She signed the document. Nyandeng Kirbino, the widow of late Kirbino Kwanyin Bol, the widow of great freedom fighter in South Sudan, the man who shot the first bullet in Bor on 16 May 1983. His wife has signed here. You know, I cannot go on to read their name, but their names are there and people know them. Now, the last thing is what is the importance of the area people are making dispute over? This area is located in an area that is known as a tropical area. Geographically, it is a tropical area. And it is a market. It is a very big market. So it has an economic importance.
It's good revenue.
In terms of economy, it is a very important area. You see? So the two communities meet in this market and they trade together. They sell and buy and they make profits, and the business is thriving there. The business is booming in the area.
Let me
so this area is not under direct management of Tweed County. Yes, Jonkur?
I was going just to make at some point here to my sister Clara. What is that benefit from me from just saying, oh, this is not your land, it's Mr. X land? What do I have to gain from that? What do I have to gain from that? If we are not talking from, historical, right here, what do I have to gain? Should I say, no, no, you are not my brother. Naztweed, you are not my brother. You all my brother. But I know who, if somebody mistaken to other, we can say, yes, this is a mistake. The way this has been done, it was totally wrong. To mobilize youth and go and burn the market, it was wrong. But, when we talk about the land, the facts are facts, right? There is no alternative for the facts. I cannot just take a side. No, it doesn't work that way. What I'm going to gain from this, if I said, oh, this is the Ngok land, or this is the Tweed Mayadid land, or this is a Jakwaj land, what I'm going to gain from it? I'm far there from Awul, right? But you are still my brothers. But whoever make mistake, we can point out this is wrong. As we say always, when government do wrong, this is wrong, and this is wrong, and that's wrong, right? But we cannot just, fool ourselves. We don't want to fool ourselves. The way this thing was engineered by politicians is wrong. But we all know Annette belonged to who. This is not the topic of today. We are not coming to judge here.
Donkor,
go ahead.
We are not here talking to say that Annette belongs to Ngok or it belongs to Tweed.
Yeah.
This is not our concern. Our concern here is that people should not fight each other, and that we are offering our solution, that what happened is wrong. And we said, this is not the way things are solved. Okay, this is not the solution. We are not here to favor Tweed or to favor Ngok. They are all people of South Sudan. Okay, they are all our people. We embrace them equally. Okay, because if we say this is this, then we are becoming what the dividing factor, and we don't want to become a dividing factor. We are people who speak on behalf of the two communities. Both the two beloved communities are our own people, right? This is what we are supposed to say here, because we are speaking on behalf of the two. Anyway, I have talked about violence in Twitch, and I have offered what I think is my solution. I am yet to talk about Ruwing, and I'm yet to talk about Mayendi, and I'm yet to talk about Pibor and other parts in Equatoria. But let me give chance to my brother Moses to have a say also, then I will come back again to continue.
Absolutely.
Moses also will have a say on the same thing. Yeah, let's continue.
Brother Moses, welcome. And you've been silent for quite some time. Now you have an opportunity. As I said from the beginning, we are discussing community violence, Ruwing in Unity State, Jongole Pipor, and part of the Equatorial region, of course. They are boiling. And the visit of President Salva Kiir to Emirates is part of our discussion tonight also. A statement by General Kwalmanyang Jok, Kiir must step aside if this country has to move forward. Dr. Ilia Lomoro, calling the citizen of the country to contribute for implementation of peace agreement. Hello, do we have time left for peace agreement, or is it expired long time ago? Why is he calling for contribution right now? Moses, I give you an opportunity. Go ahead.
Well, Usas Job, you are hearing me well. I'm using my laptop today, not my phone. So most of the time my phone is very good, but I'm using YouTube today. First of all,
no problem.
I would like to greet you, Ustaz Jonkor, and I would like to greet Ustaz Dengdit, and I would like to greet all the viewers of the concerned citizen, those who are watching now and those that are going to watch this when we finish. First of all, I would like to extend my condolences to the two communities that have lost their loved ones in communal between Abia people and Twitch of Warab people. And also I extend my condolences to people who have died in Pariang and other places and in Bor as well, and places within South Sudan. It is sad to lose, and it is a big loss because human being is the number one and the greatest asset in the world. So we are not to take side. We are here to speak the truth. When we see it is right to say it, we can say it. And as we are the non-violent political movement, our weapon is speaking the truth, talking. We deal with issues by discussing the issues, by saying the truth. That is the weapon that we use. We don't have executive powers, legislative powers. We don't have judicial powers in our hand. All that we have is to speak the truth, so our people can save their life. Because say the truth will set free. We need to say the truth so the truth can set our people free from communal violence. And we need also to say the truth so the government can learn, if they can learn from opposition like us. And if they don't want to learn, of course, we are here to say that this dictatorial government of President Kiir and SPM elites, they must go because they are not protecting the lives of our people, and they are not protecting the properties of our people, and they are there just for themselves. First of all, I would like to say this, that our President Salva Kiir Mayardit, has become the president of oil money only, not the president of the people of South Sudan. Because he is supposed to send high-level delegation to visit Warab State and to visit Abia administrative area. But instead, he went to United Arab Emirates and is going to be there for 3 days. So it shows here money is more valuable to the government than the people of South. And this is one of the reasons why we are opposing the government. This is why we come here and say this government is not serving the interests of our citizens. They are there serving their own interests as elites to enrich themselves and to stay in power until they die. And when people like us and others, non-violence movement, when they criticize the government, they call us rebels. When they were rebels in Anyanya 1 and Anyanya 2, and all their life they were rebels, and they are still now called humble. So it is not a crime to say that the government has failed, is not protecting people's lives, and is not protecting the people properties. Well, I would like to send one message to my people of Warab states, in particular Twitch, Mayadit, and the people of Abia. This is my message to you, my brothers. I am humbly saying this as an ordinary citizen of South Sudan and as a member and citizen of South Sudan. My message is this: my brothers from Warab State, Abia and Abia, please learn from Lagos State people. I am from Lagos State, and I've worked in South Sudan for some years, to be exact, full 3 years. And I've been to Lagos State. All South Sudanese, they should learn from Lagos State community. Two examples in Lagos State that I consider to be a good example. Benyuol, I greet you, and Abdallah Garang. And welcome you also. Let me just make it short because we want everybody to have a say. Giving an advice to Abia people and to Arab people that don't kill yourself like us in Lagos State. We have tried in Lagos State, but we have come to our sense that killing cannot solve any problem, my brother. And we all know you people are strong, whether you are from Twitch or from Abia, you are all strong. You are strong women and strong men. You can, nobody will win this fight. Nobody will win this conflict. So you should learn from my community in our community, Rumbek. We have killed ourselves to the extent that the world has known that, and the whole South Sudan has known. Even you people in Twitch Mayadit and people here, you know that the most people who kill themselves in South Sudan, the sub-tribe and communities are Lagos State people. But right now, we thank God that we have a responsible governor, that is General Rintwey Mabor. And as we are opposition, we are not opposing everything. We also acknowledge any person in South Sudan that is doing something great, that is saving people, and that is saving properties of people. We actually congratulate General Rin for his project running the state and now peace between Agar communities and other Ural communities and Gok and Pakam and all 8 counties in Lagos State are in peace. But we used to be very insecure community and insecure state in all South Sudan. But we have learned from mistakes. So Tweet Mayadis and Abia, killing cannot solve any problem. You learn from us. Another example, for example, within Lagos State, we Aliab community, I am from Aliab also. Live with Mundari for hundreds of years. We have marriages like what Dengdit has referred to between Twitch and Abia. We have intermarriages with Mundari. And Aliab community is the main Dinka of Barkazal. There's borders with Equatoria, Central Equatoria. We are living peacefully with Mundari. Yes, there are a few cattle raiders, but we have never reached this extent of banning shops or markets or killing each other. So my fellow citizens of Warab and BI, please learn from Lagos State. If killing can provide us a solution, we Lagos State would have become like United States of America in terms of solving problems. But killing each other, killing your brothers and sisters cannot solve any problem. And that's why we in the United Citizens for Change have chosen to fight through non-violence. Our guns here is by talking. You can hate us, and it's up to you. We will speak the truth. Last point, I agree with Dengdi as a proxy war that there are some members within the parliament and state parliament that are involved in inside between these two communities. And we all know that nothing will be done. The government of President Kiir has no the word justice in his dictionary. There is no justice in the dictionary of SPLM government. All they have is amnesty. And amnesty is the enemy of justice. So soon we will hear amnesty for those people who kill people. Like what has happened when peace is signed or any resolution is done, the first degree amnesty. Like what we have seen with Kid Guam, the first degree in the first week was amnesty. And this means that Chapter 5 in the Revitalized Peace Agreement that talk about transitional justice has died already and is buried. So if you have given amnesty to people, soldiers and generals who have given orders for people to kill themselves all these years, then there's nothing called justice that is going to prevail under this leadership. What will prevail is amnesty for the killers, and they will be rewarded and promoted. So my people of South Sudan, we don't have a government that is responsible. All that we have a president of oil money, and it's not the president of the people of South Sudan. And thank you. I will give the chance to, and we will comment also on the visit to United Arab Emirates. I'm interested to talk about it because there are a few economic issues that I need to highlight in that topic. Thank you so much, John Kor. And
thank you, Ustaz Moses, for very, very important, insight. Welcome, Ustaz Walatak, Chairman of United Citizens for Change. Welcome back, Ustaz Abdullah Garang, and all the brothers in the studio. I welcome you one more time. Ejama, I wanted to reiterate this. We are not the judges. No, we have opinion. We can find out, point out the facts. So I don't want people, to just take me out of context. It's because I talk about the net, the situation, the judge will determine. But I said since day one, I disagree the way, this issue was handled. And I repeat, my sister Nyangok, I repeat it, I'm not a judge here, right? But the facts are facts. But if we don't tell the truth to one another, and then what are we doing, right? So let's keep it there for now. No one, all these communities, they know, which belong to them and which don't belong to them, right? So one more time, Ustaz Dengdit and Ustaz Wal, Let me go ahead and give Ustaz Walatak, a chance here, and then you can read. Go ahead and make his perspective. But I want to remind our people who are watching, who are listening on Clubhouse, we have only 1 hour here, and when we are done from Facebook, and then we will move to Clubhouse and continue this topic. Very important. We have a lot to be discussed today. As you can see here, the community violence, which is we took more time talking about it. We did not even address the issues, the Ruwing state, the Ruwing and Jonglei and Equatorial region, and also the visit of President to UAE, and a statement by General Kolmanyang. I want to get perspective with Ustaz Dengdi very soon, and Ustaz Wal. General Kolmanyang finally said that Kir needs to step aside because this country is not moving anywhere, and people are dying everywhere in Jonglei, in Equatoria, in Upper Nile, in Bahr el Ghazal, everywhere, and no basic necessity for people of South Sudan to survive. I have a friend of mine who recently went to South Sudan, and actually he went to my hometown, Yamlel. Hussein Abdel Baghi went there. Hussein Abdel Baghi, then vice president of the president. He spent like 2 weeks, 3 weeks actually in our area. Okay, you guys have heard about the incident that took place a couple of weeks ago. Those from this area came in. They went inside. They left Kiradem, they left Majung Yantio, and they went inside and they killed even some soldiers from SPLM. They killed a captain. And the citizens are asking, what's happening? No protection. Even the question was directed, to Hussein Abdel Baghi. In Marial Bay, I have someone who was in that meeting. You know what he said? He said to citizens, you're into your Galwing, just go and get your gun and protect yourself. Lo maramja wala nazmesereja, try your best because why no jesh? Because they're hungry. There's no food. There's no salaries. And we have been singing this for long time. Now we have seen it in your own eyes. We are so vulnerable to extend that if Sudan today decided to invade South Sudan, they can invade South Sudan at any time. Uganda can invade South Sudan at any time. Kenya can invade South Sudan at any time. There is no power whatsoever because the army they are no longer there. No food, no salary, no medicine. Their children are dying. They don't have education. So this is real. We have preached this and we continue. We have said this for a very long time. People were calling us names. We are betrayal. We are so and we are so. I think you know what? Because we care. And we continue. And now people are start seeing back. Shuf, Finyamlel, Fimarial Bay. All right. These are things happening live. This brother, when he came back to US, do you know what he told me? He used to disagree with me. He said, John Koro, Kumaliu. That's what he said in his own house. Kumaliu. قال أخير زمان كنا مع السودان القديم قال أنت you feel that there is a government but now Kumaliu. And that's true. Ustaz Walatak, let me give you an opportunity. I don't want to
معلش جانكور قبل ولاتاك بن UCC يتكلم في كلاب هاوس مستمعين بتاع كلاب هاوس. انا شايف هناك دكتور ألدو أجو موجود في كلاب هاوس وهو طبعا هو برلماني قديم وله تجربة. بعد ما نخلص من فيسبوك هنا we can move to Clubhouse. لو هو عنده حاجة داير يعملوا في موضوع بتاع غياب الانتخابات كبرلمان قديم نحن ممكن نستمع له. شكرا دكتور ألدو أجو for being here for a long time and you are welcome.
Yeah, if the citizen can be asked by vice president to go and collect gun and go and defend themselves, what is the role of the government and what is the role of the national army of the country? What's their role then?
البلد وليدة يا جنكو.
وليدة for 17 years. For 17 years, بلد وليدة, right? It's a newborn. Ben Walatak for 17 years, right? Walatak, I'll give you a chance. Go ahead.
Ustaz Jankor, thank you very much for the opportunity to be able to address my fellow South Sudanese. Before I weigh in, allow me to greet my fellow South Sudanese. I salute you and I appreciate the fact that you have given us this time to listen to what we are about to say or the views that we have about our country. Ustaz Abdullah elaborately discussed the topics on elections. Dengdi have also talked about the communal violence. Moses have elaborated much on the current affairs in relation to even the present trouble, the negligence of the government of South Sudan. I would, however, like to delve in on the elites who are actually running our country, including the president himself. Are they representing the nation of South Sudan? Are they not? On this regard, we always know when someone is representing something by certain values. The leaders themselves are no better than the people that they represent. But the leaders exist to represent a certain value of society. They are not better than society that we exist. Yes. And the society in the context of South Sudan are our values. What are the values of the people of South Sudan that they gave their lives for during the liberation struggle? One of the critical values that we actually shared so much with the people of South Sudan, and that's what we took arms and fought against the successive regimes in the Sudan, was freedoms. It is that freedoms that we elect leaders or we chose our leaders to represent us. Hence, are they not representing the freedom that we have? You may agree with me that the regime is not representing our freedom. Are you hearing me? It looks like you are not hearing me. Where are you?
I'm hearing you very well, Ustaz Wal. I'm here.
Yes, go ahead. We are getting you.
We are getting you. I'm in the
Excellent.
studio. Yes.
Thank you. So
You are loud and clear, Banyol.
Thank you. Thank you. Faizan, one of the values that we have as the people of South Sudan, we fight, and we put this one not only in our documents, we put it also in our national anthem. The freedoms is the value. Do our people experience the freedoms that we fought for? No. Why? As we speak today, South Sudanese cannot speak freely. And that's why on this platform, those who are in diaspora are able to articulate the truth, that which even South Sudanese who is in the country know but cannot speak it. Because if they speak it, they will die. We've seen it. Our brother, Isaiah Habram, chose to speak the truth and was killed. Peter Moy chose to speak the truth and he was killed. Deng Atoy chose to speak the truth, but he was kidnapped, tortured, and tied in a sack, left to die a painful death. But his God saved him. Dengit Ayok is here, was exiled when he wrote a piece in the newspaper. The newspaper Destiny was closed down and was exiled.
Absolutely.
That means there's no freedom. They don't represent that value that we have. The second in the line is justice. Our people in South Sudan have justice that we have in our society. In the Hila, in the villages, our people value justice. Even if you come into a land, I know in my village, if you come in my land as a foreigner, and you get into a dispute with a member of a society, and that person happened to have been wronged by the native would stand against their own and say that is not fair. This is justice. Our societies have been built on justice, but this system, as we see today, the laws are applied. in a way that's, that qualifies selective application of the laws. Even the distribution of the resources themselves, the regime doesn't even know how to distribute it. Let's take for the budget, for example. When you have the census and you want to allocate the national resources, you begin by knowing what population is in South Sudan. Jungle is the biggest population. Northern Barakazal, Warab, and all, including Juba. But when you see the distribution they are made of resources, they are distributed, they call what they call uniformly. Uniformity is not justice. Uniformity is not equality. You go by equity. You balance the two. Who is better off and who is the other one? This is how you do. But let me limit this one in my area of discussion. I'll leave that area of finance to Moses because he's more qualified. And Abdullah more than me in this area. I'll talk about the application of the law. The laws in our country only applies if they promote and benefit the elites. If anything that is in the constitutions that is supposed to benefit Shab Genova Sudan, they will not do it. They would rather break it. You saw today, if you go to the judiciary, you'll find that it has died. We don't have judicial system in the country. The judicial system we have is only in person of Chandra, only who come and swear in people when they are appointed. And he goes home and sleep, and that's it. That's why you see people are killing themselves. The citizens are so frustrated to the extent that they're taking the laws into their hands simply because they don't get the justice they deserve. You've seen in the judicial system, the judges have been brutally punished, dismissed from the services, even on the faces, on the area of against the law or prescription of the law. Then there's no justice. We have talked about equality. What does equality mean? As another value the people of South Sudan gave their lives for, that we are equal before the law. No, someone is above the law, including the president. From the ordinary citizen in the village, all up to the president, the law that punishes the villager in the village there is the same thing that President Kiir must abide by. But they are not following the rule of justice. For example, people have been disadvantaged by the regime when they call for equality. As I mentioned earlier, the distribution of resources in South Sudan, they will not consider Juba as a state collecting resources having more advantage than Jonglei or than Unity State, or Unity State than any other state who is not producing oil for today, or resources that we get from oil from South Sudan, we share it across the country. The little that we have, even the one that they steal. But you come to Lebanon today, we have gold that belong to Waniga and his group and J1 presidency. You go to Eastern Equatorial State, Lamornia, full of gold. You go to when it rains and you go to the Fikor or Taran, you'll find a big piece of gold on the just in the bed after the water dries up. Huge gold, but it goes to Eastern State Governor and the associate within J1. There's no the equality here. There's no fairness. There's no fairness in the way we treat the common citizen in the country. Let me move on. Lastly, let's talk about the last one, the land of prosperity. Our land is so abundant with everything, but our citizens are growing poor every day. Are these people getting poorer with us? No. The government has built an empire that destroyed, and I'll come to talk about that later in defining it. the government has built an empire that selectively promote pro-officials, business entities, and work to destroy this. And I'm giving you an example. Our land is not poor, but our people are poor because the regime is serving itself, the official, the representative, the so-called representative of the Republic of South Sudan. They are benefiting themselves, and they divided the business to them. Let me just give you an example. Starting with those of J1, for example, where the president comes from, you'll find Kurajing is now being won. We have Bolmel. That is the group representing certain sections. If you go further to the east, to the equatorial area, you find Lupa and Lukak representing Wanig and his group building up. These are the businesses, and they're well protected by them.
Mm-hmm.
The areas of Nuer, some of the businesses they've lost when the war started. But also you still have this guy who was owning who was owning airplanes in South Sudan, getting the protection from the states. You see that these are the people that are prosperous, and you will not count that as that citizens are taking active functioning of the market in their country.
Mm.
We'll give an example of the people that were been targeted because they were not loyal to them. One of them in Yalbolaken.
Yes.
Nial is one of creative.
But there is another person.
You're cutting off Moses.
There's another person that is managing the airport. Is a businessman flow. Is managing the Juba International Airport.
Yeah, I know him.
He's another
I know,
businessman.
Yeah. Yes, I know that individual person.
Thank you.
Now, before I come back to that, let me just also continue with this. You would find these individuals like Nyalbolaken. He started the first person to study the citizen newspaper in South Sudan before Juba Monitor moved to Juba. It was the first newspaper who has a printing press. Produce the papers, print it, and take it to the market. He grew so fast, he opened the TV station. And he went further to establish the business, restaurants and several other business. When the regime saw him is successful and he's not linked to them, they began to attack him.
Mm-hmm.
And they shut down all the businesses. Now Nial decided to join politics. He's a member of parliament. What do you expect Nial to do if he get opportunity today? He will follow the team and do what they are doing there, because you cannot you cannot be destroyed in such a way and
he wanted
the
to
ocean
survive.
expect not to get the water on you.
He wanted to survive.
Yes, he would try as much as possible to survive. If you look further, several newspapers that have been closed, the Destiny, Al-Wadhan, the Nation Mirror newspaper, all the list is so long. You will go further and you look about the other businesses that are not entitled to the government of South Sudan, you'll find them, they either have been attacked. And this is by design. It's not coincidence. It is by design to cripple the business entity such that the elites can have power over the poor. And you remember, the priority of the angry person is his stomach and not the country. You cripple the people not to talk, you make them poor. It's only few who can survive. We have seen here the purpose of representative is to protect the best interest of the people. What is our best interest today? Our best interest is that we want to see our children educated. Our sons and our daughters are educated so that they can have our country and inherit the continuity of our nation, South Sudan. But our children today do not get education because, one, they learn under the trees. Two, the teachers are poorly paid. to the extent that they're not enthusiastic to attend their teaching every week. They will not attend to their job every week because they have to go and look for something else to make the end meet for their family. And if anything that you see, our children are taught propaganda. Gavira Fulani is against you, against that. And that's what goes into the head. And this propaganda is to divide the people and to legitimize the leadership in South Sudan. They corrupt elites. Therefore, they are not representing us. They don't represent any tribe in South Sudan, neither are they representing the state of South Sudan or the country of the South Sudan, because they are not preparing the nation of South Sudan to continue. They're only crippling the citizen to the point that at the end of the day, the children whom they are educating now in the foreign countries will come and take over. You've seen it, the president already started preparing his son. He's grooming him because he knows he has not prepared this other one. He knows that all the resources have been taken and banked into the private accounts or have gone straight from oil sales to their pockets and enrich the children and educate them. The poor children, yours and me and mine, are expected to serve them the way now of their fathers are serving them and singing songs of Salva Kiir Waye, SPLA Waye, Waniga Waye, and so forth. Even Riek Machar, who is purporting to be fighting for this fair and justice, is as corrupt and as selfish as any leader in South Sudan. We've seen how he brought his wife into the leadership to the expense of the newer intellectuals who would not deliver. I'm not saying that Angelia will not deliver, but distribution and fairness should have been placed. Defense, vice president, that is not how things should be. And what would happen to that child? A child who has been taught propaganda, by the time he's 18, there will be nothing else to happen to that child but to be conscripted into the army, where he will be trained and put into the jesh, like he will not be paid salary. He would stay for nearly a year or 9 months without salary. When that happens, that child is poor. And when that officer is paid as little as $1,000, just through the back door, it will go and say, so and so, well, this is all quiz. It's a good Banyika Imoj. He shares with the people. Not knowing what he's giving him, even $100 that he's giving him, for example, is stole from him. And that soldiers can easily be directed to create harm to the very person that's trying to liberate him from the trouble, because his mind has been crippled. What happened then to the nation of the South Sudan? That soldier, that child who has been mistreated, has been made not to be able to use his talent and creativity to generate wealth for himself, job for his fellow citizens, and taxes on his country. In South Sudan, we have as many as Bill Gates, as Stephen Jobs in the United States. They are there in South Sudan, but those talents they have is being destroyed because they're not being exposed, they're not being given proper education for them to grow and use their talent and creativity. A human being can only function in an environment that is conducive.
Yes.
The environment we have in South Sudan is not conducive. You look at the health services, we only have the leaders taking the children and themselves abroad to get education, to get proper health. But every citizen in Buma, in every corner of the country, is suffering and feeling the pain of neglect. This is the problem we need to address. The elites who are actually destroying our country, looting it, and taking the resources for their own benefits. Now, what do we need? And why did the government do this? Did they do that by accident? Are they ignorant? No, they are not. It is the design, it is the choice between inclusive, democratic, economic, and political institutions, and extractive political and economic institutions. They've chosen the extractive one, the extractive economic institutions help to prosper or constrain rather the citizen and help the elites to prosper. The inclusive institutions enable the citizen to punish corrupt political leaders and engage effectively in economic or the running of market of the country, but they do not allow that. Let me define you the institution. What is institutions? Because the institutions is wide. We can talk of marriage institution, church institutions, and so forth. But I'm talking about the institution of governance, and which can be defined as a set of rules society adopts to help constrain and structure the human interactions between the members of society. In other words, they are instruments established for public goods that always are grounded in the rules of law of the country for the benefit of society. But in this case, what do we have in South Sudan? We have extractive economic institutions because we are getting poorer and poorer simply because they are benefiting the elites, not the entire country. The rich country that we talk today, they are rich because they have inclusive economic and political institutions. We talk like United States, but in our case in Africa, let me give you the example of Malaysia and Ghana. They got independent on the same day, the same year, the same month. Malaysia is more wealthy today, more than the Ghana. Ghana has more resources. Singapore and Kenya, if I get the word of what has been cited in the media widely, that the President of the Republic of Kenya did mention that Kenya at some point loan or gave a loan to Singapore. But look at Singapore today is a developed world. Why? Why is it different? The Malaysians had that institutions of governance that I've talked about. Inclusive economic institutions and political institutions that allowed greater degree of the citizen to participate. Kenya and Moi did not have that, enjoy that at the time. The same thing, Ghana. Come to South Sudan. If you compare South Sudan with the rest of the countries, the South Sudan is likely to lag behind because the regime has adopted extractive economic institutions that benefit them. When you see the national security law, it is built under the concept of extractive economic institutions. These institutions can excessively tax or either confiscate businesses and crippled entrepreneurs that are not favoring the country. That's why you see the security law that we have today is not coincidence. It is by design to enable the elites to continue to loot the country and impoverish any citizen that is having a different opinion of how the country should be run. And that's why we are likely to suffer the poverty. I'm about to finish. This makes it also very hard for a citizen to have a breakthrough between the rich and the poor and the poor gap. For example, today, if you are opposed to the government and you want to get an employment, it is so difficult, even in the private sector, to get that one because the security will go about threatening the businesses or even the NGOs sometimes. If you employ this one, you have trouble with you. And the people, number of people have been turned away from getting the jobs because they've been threatened. They've been marked by the national security. They've been marked by the agencies that they should not be those kind of people that could get a job. That is meant to keep the citizen poor and force them to sing the song that they want to hear. Now, We've talked about the barrier. Let's look at about this other citizen. I've talked about the citizen getting involved, and like, for example, let me give you an example of northern South Korea. These people are people of the same culture, the same language, the same attitude. But when they split, one adopted extractive system, that is the North, and the South adopted inclusive system. The South Korea is more richer than the North Korea. And we can see this system was adopted by these individuals so that the citizen become poor and the elites become so rich for the purpose of controlling the power. And that is what the regime in Juba is doing today. And if you don't believe it, then you may need to know why you're not having the hospitals, why your children not having the good schools, why is a soldier in South Sudan, Bamshibe Kedare, and is fighting to keep these people in power. It's simply because they want to control their minds, the mind of ordinary soldier. Keep him hungry, keep him down there, and give them piecemeal, and make sure that you tell them that the problem that you're having today, then as young people, Moses, Walden Abdallah Garang, who are talking about the government, that's why the livelihood is becoming so difficult. Is Kawaja selling your oil? No. Is Kawaja selling your gold? No. But the purpose of propaganda is to make sure that the truth is not come out, the truth is not heard. And that's what the regime is doing in South Sudan. If you are a soldier and you live in South Sudan today, you will attest that what I'm saying is true. What do you need to do then to stop this? We need to stop attacking each other on the basis of ethnicity. We need to stop this idea of looking at the face value. Let me say, the first value by counting how many people have been employed and they are Dinka, and how many people have been employed and they are Nuer or they are Equatorians or they are Bari and so forth. This is the first value, because these people whom have been employed, even if they are from this particular, for whose purpose, for whose benefit are they being there? For the benefit of the elites, not for the entire people of the South Sudan. If I'm appointed under secretary or the minister in my country, in my part of South Sudan, and I'm only serving the interest of President Salva Kiir and the colleagues that are with me, I'm not representing those people in the constituencies where I come from. I'm representing myself. We need, therefore, to come together as a citizen of the nation and stop this nonsense of attacking that or making assumption that it is Nuer or it is the Dinka or it is so who are the beneficiary of this system. It is not them. 99.9% of the Dinka, of the Nuer, of the Shuluk, of Bari, and every other ethnicity in South Sudan are not the beneficiaries of this system. It's only the elites who are who are representing themselves.
You are making a good point, actually. I want to interject here. You know, when you're talking about those elites, representing themselves, they are not representing, the people from the constituencies. Let's talk raw example of Elia Lomoro. When people were suffering in Ye, what did he do? He didn't do anything. Waniga, when people were suffering in Labanok, what did he do? He didn't do anything. Kwal Manyang was in the government. When people are dying in Jungle, what did he do? He didn't do nothing. And many, many more. Even Lena Yang, people were killed. How many MPs from Warab? What happened? They did not do anything. In Northern Barakazal, we have MPs, those Maseria, they keep coming and killing people. There is no clean water. There is no hospital. There is no road. There is nothing. They did not do anything. Even you go to Awan Chanyal, what they have done there as the president himself, nothing. So we need to come to the conclusion that actually they are representing themselves. And you are right, Chairman Wall. They are representing themselves. They are not representing anyone. And we should not quarrel among ourselves. That's a clear message, right? We should not quarrel ourselves. Wall is beneficial, Dengue is beneficial, Jonkor is beneficial. We are not beneficial. Those are the problem. You made it clear. They just want to drain you mentally. They don't want you to think about the developmental project in the country. They don't want you to think about clean water. They don't want you to think about the school. They just want you to be suppressed so you can worry about your well-being. As I said, always. That's what they intend. That's what the regime in Juba intend, and they succeeded, and they continue. And that's why we keep asking a bigger question always. Why are we not coming to our senses, those who are still behind that way? Why are they not coming to their senses and realize that this government is not serving them? It's not serving them. It's killing them. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Sir Jonko. Actually, I was about to. This government is ruling by the rules of by the rule of law, not by rule of law. They use it. This is the difference. The rule of law means everybody is equal before the law. It may mean the order. It may mean that, laws and order. It may mean equality in every aspect of the law. But the rules by law means that those who are leading the country, the elites, like the one you have in South Sudan, they decide which one is law and which of this law is going to be abiding and which one is not. And that's why you see they say corruption is wrong, but they will go and do the corruption. They will go about and say, we must have an elected member of parliament, but they end up appointing them. That is a rule by law. They decide that they pick that side of law that benefits them. And President Salva Kiir is an expert in this. He picks it when he wants to use it, and he ignores the rest when he doesn't. And all his following follows him. I therefore call on you, my brothers and sisters, for in order for us to have the country that we had once dreamt for, a land of freedoms, justice, equality, prosperity for all, we must unite as the people who are the defenders of the values of the South Sudan and stop fighting against one another. Because ethnicities or the tribes are very innocent. Just as our fallen heroes who fought and died for this country failed defending us, they are innocent. They have nothing to do with this. Stop yourself. You know the truth. You've seen how it had become. We have in South Sudan, like, for example, I don't want to mention many names, but let me just allow me to mention just a simple one. When we formed the government of South Sudan in 2005, one of our foreign ministers, under the CPA, was Lama Kon, a hardworking, a man I respect. But when it came to appointing those of a Jarwin, like, for example, Emmanuel Jarwin and other Jarwins, made it to the foreign ministry. And they became many in the ministry, not because they were representing the Shuluk or they were representing the section or the clan where they come from, but they've had the favor of Lamakol, who happened to have power, and shows them their cousin and their relatives. The same Emmanuel Jarwin today would see, for example, Michael McQueen-Lueth in the Ministry of Information, who have filled the ministry with his members from his community, and not only community, a small section of Gok. He would say that Denga is dominating the government. It is the elites, the same thing that made him be appointed that way. That is the system that has been so corrupt and is ineffective and has relied itself back to the ancient day where people were relying on relatives, friends to protect. The time of emperor, where the king would give a piece of land and the people in it to their cronies and make them the lords, and that would become peasants. It's similar to that because we were not applying and using the system of governance. The same thing you'll find it when I was in parliament. 90% of those who were actually my aides in parliament were Bari. But it doesn't mean that all the Bari were benefiting from. It's just because a few fell in favor with Wanihiga, who happened to be the leader at the time, and they got the job. We need to come together to correct this system, my brother Emmanuel, and whoever is attacking Dinka. we need to attack the crime, and the crime is the deviation from the cause of the people of South Sudan. Our dream is for us to live in our land as free citizens. Our dream is to live in a land where every citizen is equal before the rule of law, where opportunities and prosperities are not selectively given to individuals, but where they are made available for individuals' creativity and talents, and to support our citizens to grow. The land that we are living peacefully, loving each other, like the one we had before in 1940s and before this war that has divided us. We are South Sudanese, and that with one destiny and one purpose. Let us unite. Thank you very much. God bless you. May God bless South Sudan. I will open up. I will come back later if you want me. I will stop there. Thank you, Mr. Presenter. God bless you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sazwal. Thank you so much for coming in, the chairman of UCC, and with the great perspective. Now, I know Ustad Abdullah Garang is going to work. So, and actually, I would like to give him that opportunity. He has only maybe 20 minutes to go to work. So, Ustad Dengi, let's give Ustad Abdullah Garang and Ustad Moses, let's give Ustad Abdullah Garang a chance here because he's going to go to work very soon to make his comment. And actually, I want to remind our people in the clubhouse that actually we have only 20 minutes here on the YouTube, on Facebook, and then we're gonna move all the way to Clubhouse. Please stay tuned. Don't go away. You will have an opportunity to speak and air your perspective. Ustad Abdullah Garang, please go ahead. Oh, okay. You were muted.
And mute yourself, Abdullah.
Oh, yeah, he's good now. He's good. Don't touch it, Abdullah.
يا شكرا.
Okay.
شكرا للناس اللي تحدثوا قبل شويه، الاخ موسيس، الاخ ولاتاك، والاخ دنديد ايوب. نحن هنا لانه نحن شاعرين بالمسؤوليه. كلكم سمعتوا انه جنوب السودان يعني الدوله في الدول الفاشله نحن النمبر 1. We are number 1 on the list of the failures countries. We are concerned about this, and we are failure today because of this government. So we have to work very hard. You and I, we have to work together to better our country, because we cannot stay like this since 2011. There's no any progress. Nothing done in health, education, and all of this. مشاهدين بتاع concerned citizen والناس اللي في club house. United Citizen for Change الجروب البرنامج السياسي اللي احنا قايمين به برنامج طموح لكل جنوب السودان. وانا بقول لبني ولاتك ممكن يعمل ريليز لمانيفيستو او للدوكمنت بتاعت UCC عشان الناس تعرف اكثر. نحن نقول لحكومه جنوب السودان if there is no election in end of 2022 or by the first of 2023, there is no any extension. ما في انتخابات، ما في تمديد للحكومة. And they have to know this from today. People of South Sudan will not allow this. لأنه شعب صبر ما فيه الكفاية. لأنه الحكومة الآن بتلعب. انتخابات جاي بدون أي برنامج عملي. هل عندنا دستور؟ الآن في اللجنة بتاع الدستور شغال من تكوين اتفاقات، من تنفيذ من إمضاء اتفاقات سلام. لجنة دولة تحول إلى لجان. الدولة تحولت إلى لجان، إدارة بتاع الدولة لجان. ده الدولة الحديثة ما بتديروا كده. نحن في عصر في العصر يختلف من 1960 1970. الآن في لجنة بتاع الدستور. طيب إذا كان نحن ما عندنا دستور الدستور هو ذاته اللي بيحدد الانتخابات بيقوم 200 شكله يكون كيف؟ شكل الحكومة حيكون كيف؟ حكومة رئاسية، حكومة برلمانية، وهكذا.
أستاذ عبد الله،
نعم.
آسف على المقاطعة. اللي عايز أقوله إنه الحكومة الآن قاعدة تتحدث عن الانتخابات. أن هنا موقفنا شنو ذاته من الانتخابات دي كناس معارضين؟ هل نحن موافقين تقوم الانتخابات ولا لا؟ دي نقطة مهمة جدا أنت تتكلم فيه في نهاية حديثك، لأن أنت قبل تطرقت لقضية بتاعت إنه في 1 2 3 تتعمل قبال الانتخابات.
يس.
النقطة ده بيوصلنا للسؤال، هل الانتخابات دي تقوم ولا ما تقوم؟ وموقفنا زار نحن شنو في UCC. Go on.
اوكي. طبعا زي انا ما ذكرت مشاهدي كونسيرن سيتيزن اوف ساوث السودان انا الناس في كلاب هاوس، الانتخابات ما حيقوم في زمن زي ما قال الرئيس مفوضيه بتاعت الانتخابات، لانه الان الدستور ما مكتمله، ما في تعداد سكاني، ما في تدريب، حتى الماليه نحن سمعنا ليه الامور يعني بترجى المواطنين انه يتبرعوا للدوله لتنفيذ اتفاقيه السلام. وش اتفاقيه السلام؟ اتفاقيه السلام خلاص يعني فترتها انتهت. نحن على نهايه يعني الفتره المحدده في اتفاقيه السلام. الان الحكومه بتحاول انه يعمل اكستنشن، لانه الحكومه ما جهز الانتخابات، ما عندها ماليه، ما في دوائر جغرافيه، ما في كادر فني معد لاداره الانتخابات، لانه ده اول انتخابات في ظل دوله انت لازم تعد له. اذا الان الحكومه بتتكلم على انه يعملوا يعني انتخابات، وفي النهايه يقولوا تمديد. نحن في UCC نحن بنرفض اي تمديد للحكومه الان الموجوده في السلطه في شقين، المعارضه IO والIG والسوا كلهم. نحن بنرفض اي تمديد لفتره انتقاليه اكثر من ده. اذا لو ما في انتخابات الشعب هيثور ضد هذه الحكومه and they're gonna move them by power، او الناس ترجع لتوصيات بتاعت الحوار الوطني. لازم يكون في مخرج، لكن اي تمديد نحن في UCC هنرفض. وزي ما قمنا في شهر 8 وعبينا الشعب وعلى اساس انه نحن نخرج، نحن برضو قادرين انه نحن نستمر في هذا المنوال. ما الناس يقولوا نحن سكتنا، ابدا نحن ما سكتنا، نحن ما سكتنا، نحن شغالين. الطرق كثيره، الطرق بتاع التغيير كثيره مختلفه. نحن في UCC نحن شغالين بنوسع في التحالفات بتاعنا عشان نجي بصوره اقوى. والمره الجاي حيكون عندنا اعلام اقوى، حيكون عندنا حلفاء على مستوى الاقليم والمستوى العالم اقوى، لأن الحكومه الان الموجوده يعني ما قادره تنفذ اي حاجه يعني متفق عليه، حتى في اتفاقيه السلام ما قادره. اذا ما في داعي نحن نستمر وندعم هذه الحكومه الفاشله. دقيق. لو الحكومه قالت تقوم انتخابات، طيب زي ما قال السؤال بتاع دقيق، انتخابات يا استاذ دقيق، الان نحن ما بنقبل، نحن في UCC ما بنقبل انتخابات ما لم يحدد الدوائر الجغرافيه. ما في انتخابات بقوم بدون تحديد دوائر جغرافيه، ما في. يتم تحديد دوائر جغرافيه، تمهيد للانتخابات، بعد ذلك يكون في انتخابات. الشغله ما ليك. نحن نقول للحكومه الناس اللي بيقولوا نحن نتكلم في فيسبوك ساعه ديل، نحن واصلين، نحن قاعدين في اللوغو، قاعدين في اول، في مكتيان، قاعدين في ملكال قاعدين everywhere. نحن قادرين انه الحكومه دي اذا ما قدرت انها تعمل تعداد سكاني، تعمل مصالحه وطنيه، تدعو للانتخابات، نحن ما حنقبل باي خيار كده. لكن اذا الحكومه الان حددت فتره لتعداد سكاني، حوار وطني او مصالحه وطنيه، نجيب الناس اللي قاعدين برا ديل كلهم، نشكل جسم متفق عليها لاداره الانتخابات من المعارضه الان الموجود في روما، ايوه نحن والاخرون نتفق، نعمل وفاق وطني، نتفق على اداره الانتخابات، بعد ذلك نحن بنمشي انتخابات. لكن انتخابات زي حصلت في 2010 عشان المرشح يشيل الصناديق بتاع الانتخابات، يمشي يبيتوا في بيته ويجيبوا بكره للمركز، ده نحن ما حنقبل به خالص. اي تزوير او اي تلفيق او اي محاوله لمد الفتره للحكومه الان الموجود، نحن ما حنقبل. والشعب ذاته في جنوب السودان يعني ضاق الامرين، ما فيه كفايه، وجاهز انه يعني يموت او يواجه اي مصير من انه يستمر هذه الحكومه ونوصف انه نحن دوله فاشله. اذا يا دنجي، if there is no election no extension، ما في تمديد للحكومه اذا ما في انتخابات. الكلام ده واضح جدا، ونحن حنستمر انه نوعي المواطن يعرف حقوقه عشان يقلع حقه. الناس اللي قاعدين في النقطه الاخيره، الاخ سليمان دندره له رساله. المبادره بتاعت سليمان دندره الفات، الاخ سليمان دندره، يعني المبادره بتاعتك نحن يعني تشاورنا فيه كثير، يعني ما تقول الموضوع ده نحن نسيناه، لانه نحن ما بنتكلم سايد بعد ذاك بننسى المواضيع. فانا بقول للاخ سليمان دندره وي ستيل ريمبر المبادره بتاعتك، مبادره جميله جدا جدا، انه نحن لازم نجي سوا ونقول رؤيتنا نحن كمثقفين او اليتس ان ساوث سودان او ساوث سودان، نكتب رؤيتنا نديه للحكومه مكتوبه للوقف الحاصل في موضوع بتاعت العنف في جونجلي في ابيي، راينا شنو والحل هو شنو. ده مبادره من سليمان دندره، ونحن يعني بنتشاور في هذه المبادره، والاخ هو الموجود هنا نحن تكلمنا معاه، وده حاجه كويسه، يعني انه نحن كابناء جنوب السودان let us come together عشان يكون لنا رؤيه واحده، عشان الحكومه يعني ما تشتغل بهواه، يعني كل يوم بيجينا بحاجه جديده، حاجه ما مفهوم. هنالك الان ضبابيه، الاخوه المستمعين في جنوب السودان، نحن ما حنستمر في الدوله فاشله، نحن ما حنستمر في الدوله بدون دستور، نحن ما حنقبل اي تمديد للفتره الانتقاليه بعد انتهاء الفتره المحدده في اتفاق السلام. شكرا جزيلا، وكلنا ابناء جنوب السودان، وكلنا ابناء بلد، وما في زول يتزايد علينا ويقولوا انتوا دين ناس منو، انتوا ناس منو. نحن التقسيمات الان نحن ما دايرينه، نحن let us work as South Sudanese، ونخلي التقسيمات بيهايننا. كلنا نحن ابناء جنوب السودان، وما في زول وطني اكثر من الزول الثاني، وما في زول حريص للوطن اكثر من الزول الثاني. مشكلتنا دير الانتهازين والناس المستنفعين الموجودين في حكومه جنوب السودان، الشعب اداهم الامل لكن لم ينجزوا شيئا. حتى المعارضه الاي او الان الموجود في جنوب السودان they have to do something، لكن القائد او الرئيس بتاع الاي او الدكتور رياض مشار ظل صامتا، لا حس لا خبر، لا ما قاعد يتكلم للشعب. انت كيف حتكون قائد؟ انت كيف حتقود جنوب السودان؟ يس نحن عرفناك، انت محصور، انت مسجون، لكن الاعلام مفتوح. الان انا في الولايات المتحده in Washington state really far away, and people of South Sudan now they are listening to me. So نحن فقدنا الامل حتى ذاته في المعارضه الان الموجود في الحكومه، ونحن بنشوف المعارضه الناس اللي بيتكلموا الان يعني، والناس اللي بينتقدوا الحكومه، الناس الان نحن الموجودين هنا دي، والناس الموجودين اللي بيقولوا الناس دي الناس فيسبوك ساكت، نحن ما ناس فيسبوك ساكت. We are working and we know what we are doing and we are coming. Thank you very much.
استاذ عبد الله قرن، اشكرك كل الشكر. اوف كورس الحكومه دي اصلا ما حكومه ونحن عارفين الناس اللي لسه الناعمه وراها دي هي ما فاهم. ثانك يو، انا اشكرك كل الشكر. ورياض مشار بس كلام اللي انا بقول عنه لا قوه له ولا حول. رياض مشار اصلا سجين، يعني هو اصلا سجين. ده كان بس خرطوم للسلام، ده كان تاكتيك من السيد مستر مياديد ذو القعبة السوداء. يعني دي كان بس تاكتيك، يعني دي كان تاكتيك على انه شنو يجيب الايو جوا وخلاص اللهم جرى الموضوع انتهى. ده كان هدف، ما كان سلام. احنا قلنا لهم، احنا قلنا الكلام ده، قلنا دي is not peace. Kir is not interested in peace. He's interested ruling this country until he died. أنا بقول لكم الكلام ده وبكرر لكم الكلام ده, and this is what he's going to do. Since I start advocating in social media, كلام أنا قلته has been right. أنا ما رسول وليس prophet. I'm not a prophet. But الواقع أنت لن تقرأ الواقع وتشوف، لن تنظر. This is what lies حكومة ده ما يستخدم all kind of lies, you know, نهارا جهارا قدامكم في عيونكم. قاعد يكذب ان احنا هنجيب سلام وان احنا هنعمل ده. How many extension now Salva Kiir has? 3 extension. بعد ما بقينا independent nation ادو extension. وبعد كده اديس ابابا extension. اديس ابابا السلام 15 sorry. Another Khartoum de Salam extension. 3 extensions. And now he is willing again to bribe the members, the key leaders of National Legislative Assembly. Is willing to bribe them very soon, couple months. It do incentive, some incentive, and then let's go ahead and give Mr. Mayadit another 3 years because the time.
They call it car loan.
Yeah. Yes, they're going to say the time is not okay, the preparation has not been done, Mafi census, Mafi constitution. Well, you were there. Why you didn't do it? You didn't want to do it. ليه؟ عشان أساساً الأمر محسوم، لأنه هو عايز ويقعد. فلأنه لو في انتخابات حرة ونزيهة, he will never sit his bottom on that seat. He will not sit in that seat. He's not going to sit there. لأن somebody else, ابن جنوب السودان الحر وبار ومحب, okay, وغني بإيمان, will take that seat and he will move this country forward. But he does not want that. He doesn't want South Sudan to prosper, to be just, to be liberated. But I'm so sorry sometimes to my brothers who are mentally, you know, I don't know, they need to liberate their mental from this. They are not. تقول كلام زي يقول والله ده كلام فارغ, ده كلام فيسبوك. وإلا ويل لك because you don't know وانت ما تعرف وما داير تعرف. يا ريت لو عندك شعاع في عقلك انه عايز يفهم بيكون كويس. But we will not give up. أستاذ دمير أيوك, أستاذ وول, أستاذ, I think time has come. لكن I want you to answer, you know, تديني إجابة في كلام تاع جنرال كول منيان جوك statement بتاعه. هو قال كير ده يمشي. يعني أنا سامعينك ونحن جايين بعد شوية بس أمباسادور سليمان دندرة. أنا جايين لكم بعد شوية.
قبل ما تمشي للموضوع ده, في موضوع مهم جدا داير اوضحه في العرض بتاع استاذ دينجي دايوك. مهم جدا انا اقول فيه كلمتين في دقيقتين ولا 3 في الكلام.
انتوا سامعين يا جماعه؟ اوكي جو اهيد.
نحن سامعين. سليمان كلامه واضح.
تفضل. هاي خليك علي صوتك شويه امباسادور سليمان.
اول حاجه خلينا نحييكم كلكم ونحيي الناس اللي معي هنا, ايوين, ليندا, عبد الله قرن, والناس التحت, الناس السامعيننا في الكلاب هاوس والناس البرا. بالمناسبه يعني انا داير اشكر ديندي دايوك في القضيه بتاعت ان انت وضح لنا حجم الفساد. مش ده انا ما بسميه فساد, حجم الاخفاق والفوضى القاعد في الحكومه بتاعنا. فساد ده حاجه ثانيه, سميه فوضى. يعني هو عرض لنا 3 جوابات. الجواب الاول طلع من محافظ. يا جماعه تخيلوا محافظ بيكتب لرئيس اداريه بتاعت ابيه, وما انه المحافظ ده ما عنده الحق يكتب للحاكم بتاعه, ما بيكتب للحاكم,
بيمشي للحاكم يبلغه ويرفع له التقرير، لكن ما عنده الحق يكتب له. فكيف هو يقدر يكتب يتعدى يكتب للرئيس بتاع إدارية بتاع أبيي؟ ومش كده، صورة لرئيس الجمهورية، محافظ يرسل صورة بتاع الجواب بتاعه لرئيس الجمهورية، صورة للمجلس التشريعي، صورة لمجلس الولايات، وصورة للحاكم، والناس كله ساكتين، الرئيس ساكت والحاكم ساكت. أنا الحاكم ده قد نعذره، ظروفه أنا ده ظروف مختلفة، لكن رئيس الجمهورية لما المفروض مكتب رئاسة الجمهورية لما يوصل لهم صورة بتاعت محافظ قاعد يخاطبهم، أنا ما بعرف هم بيحسوا كيف. والمحافظ ده كله مشكلته شنو؟ أنت قندي ده يوم ذكره، مش القضية ما قضية أرض يا جماعة، إنه الأرض بتاع أنيد ده تابع ولا محل ما في إيرادات، بس إيرادات بتاع المحل بس.
نعم.
المحل الثاني والخطير، الرئيس بتاع إدارية أبيي كتب للحاكم بتاع وراب يا أخوي ما محافظ بتاعك ده قاعد يهددني بجاي كده حصله. ما في الحاكم ما قدر يرد له. طوالي طلع جواب ثاني من المجتمع، يعني الحاكم المحافظ حرك المجتمع عشان يزيد الضغط، طلع جواب من المجتمع.
نعم.
شوف الخطورة ده كيف، والناس ساكتين، كل الوطن ساكت، يعني يخلوا أهلنا يموتوا ساكت أونطة في كلام قروش بتاع ضرائب. مش عشان بعد ده الخطورة وين؟ أنا جيت أقدر أقوله للجنوبيين، أعضاء المجلس المفروض هم اللي بينادوا رئيس جمهورية، مش يكتبوا له، إنما المفروض جواب بتاع المحافظ يجيم، هم ينادوا رئيس الجمهورية يقولوا له كده تعالى اشرح لنا ده شنو قاعد يحصل في النبي، والمحافظ رسل لنا الجواب ده كيف حصل. لأنه الرئيس مساءل أمامه، لكن الرئيس ما ممكن ينادي عضو مجلس، أعضاء المجلس ما مساءلين أمام الرئيس، يعني حتى هم أعضاء المجلس ديل ما فاهمين شغلهم ذات. أنت عضو مجلس، الرئيس ما مسؤول منك، أنت المسؤول من الرئيس، بتنادي الرئيس في المجلس يجي يتكلم معك، لكن الرئيس ما ممكن يناديك في مكتبه. فعملوا شنو؟
شوف البرلمان ده برلمان الرئيس ده ما برلمان الشعب، رئيس او مسؤول، انت عارف الكلام ده كله.
ما المساله يا جونكر نتكلم لاهلنا، ما اسم برلمان نمشي بالقانون اللي عمله، ما في برلمان، يعني برلمان في الولايه بنادي الحاكم، لكن الحاكم ما بقدر ينادي عضو برلمان في المكتب بتاعه. انا بعتبر الناس اللي ادوا تصريح بالقتل في انيت والعمل الفوضى ده اعضاء المجلس دي، لانه هم المفروض طوالي طالما الجواب ده وصل لهم ينادوا رئيس الجمهوريه يعملوا لهم مساءله. مش كده يا جونكر، اخطر حاجه انا مزعلني جدا، الحاكم وشاف خطوط الحاجه ده جرى مشى جوبا، المحافظ جرى وراه ومشى جوبا، الحاجات دي كنت يحرق، هم قاعدين في جوبا، مشى قابل الرئيس وقال له ده انه نجمد، وثاني يوم طلع خطاب اعتذر فيه انه يا اخي الحاجه اللي حصل، بيعتذر انه يحاول يهدي الناس. يا اخي انا المفروض طوالي حاجه دي حصل، هو المحافظ بتاعه ده يركب يمشي. انا كان رئيس جمهوريه، خليني اخذ نفسي مع سلفا كير، الحاجات ده كله اعتبر ناس المكتب بتاعه ما وصلوا له الجواب، وسمع انه انيت فيه مشكله، والحاكم قابله وقال له ده انه قانون، والمحافظ قاعد في جوبا. انا لو الرئيس ما ده اهله يا قاعدين يشاكلوا، بشيل الحاكم وبشيل المحافظ وبنادي باقي الحكام كله وبمشي انيت نشوف القصه دي شنو، وبشيل معي لجنه امنيه عشان يحلوا المشكله، مش لجنه امنيه، لجنه قانونيه عشان يحلوا المشكله. يا جنكر يا الحكومه ده قاعد يخلي اهلنا يموتوا اونطه بدون سبب. هسه كلامك ده اخواننا في التون، الشباب بتاع اسم شنو ده هجموا رومبيك قبل 5 ساعات، هجموا رومبيك الشماليه وحرقوه والشارع بقر وما معروف الضحايا قتلوا شنو بدون سبب طبعا، ما لانه الامن مفقود، طبعا الناس ماشيين يسرقوا بقر. فالوضع ده انا بعتبر اعضاء المجلس ده ديل مش مشكله هسه بقى رئيس، حتى المجلس اعضاء بتاعه يعني بقوا ما بيفهموا هم قاعدين يعملوا شنو. ده الحاجه اللي انا جيت بس داير اوضحه، وبشكر دايوك على القرايه بتاعته المتأنيه للجوابات. يعني حتى اللغه اللي اهلنا بيخاطبوا بعض، لغه بتاع التحديد، زول انت قاعد تخاطب زول في شمال السودان ولا زول في اسرائيل ولا زول وين، ما مفهوم يعني كيف يعني. فده الحاجه اللي انا داير اقوله. بعد ده انا باقي الكلام بنجي نقوله في
شكرا.
لكن حكومتنا ده ما فوق كلام. انا من عبركم هنا انا بقول لاهلنا يا جماعه ما في زول يقتل زول عشان واطه ده ما، ولا في زول واطه عندنا مليان ما في زول يقتل زول على عشان وطن، وما في زول يسمع كلام ناس ديل بعد كده، لو عضو مجلس ولا عضو ولا رئيس ما في زول يسمع كلامه. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا اخي سليمان للمداخله، مداخله مهم جدا جدا. نعم انا جونكو داسو لما نتكلم عن الحكومه ده يا رئيس ده يا رئيس، ما يا الناس كان قاعدين يمودوا في رومبيك هسه اليوم فكرين يمشي يشوفوا يا ما تويت كان قاعدين يمودوا يوم داك ما ندبول، وناس زيناي كان قاعدين يمودوا، ناس تون قاعدين يمودوا ما نتويت سنين قاعدين يمودوا، ناس بيمودوا في جنجولي. ما هسه اليوم الزول ما عندهم يعني اسال حتى ولو خاطبناه يا اخي تعال تعمل لجنه ما يمشي، لانه اساسا ما هسه اليوم سلفا كير هسه بينه ناس قاعدين يموتوا، ناس قاعدين يموتوا الليل والنهار، ما عنده احساس بانه ناس قاعدين يموت. يعني البموت ده بالنسبه له اتس اوكي ناس بيموت بجاي وهو بيركب طياره بجاي وقاعد از دايننج هافينج فان، يسافر من دوله لدوله. يعني الرئاسه بالنسبه له ده ما اداره البشر، الرئاسه بالنسبه له تركب طياره تكون في ريد كاربت تمشي ساوث افريكا، تمشي تشاينا، تمشي ايجيبت، تمشي وين. That's what it is to him. أنا رانجان توليان, you say that بتونجان توليان long time ago. I'm sincerely I say this because the guy does not have a heart for the country. He does not, and he's ruling them like just I don't know, like bucket on crap in the bucket. يعني واحد bucket crap ده يطلع كده دقوا يدخل جوا. But that's what it is. That's how he's dealing with South Sudanese. And he's not treating them like his fellow citizen. He's not proud. These are the people that I fought for 38 years. He's not. ما حصل اليوم. يا بيأجر طيارة أنا قلت لكم ركب مباراه بالرواندية. بكرة هيركب بإثيوبيا. بعد بكرة هيركب بكينيا. That's how he operates. So ده ما زولنا نحس نقول يا أخي رئيس ده سي ما قاعد يحس بالليل ويمشي يقول لك الناس بيموتوا هنا. حصل اليوم سلفا كير زار زيارة بس قال الناس ماتوا. طلع برا كده يتكلم في مايكروفون بستيتمنت. بس one day أنا قاعد أقول one day لو كلام زي ده حصل إنه يجي يتكلم our people die and this should have happened وكده كده. No. وقاعد يقول أنتوا تشاكلوا وتقتلوا بعضكم ولما زول يجري بعدين خلاص. That's what he said. Sorry brothers, I think they did and I want to give you that opportunity and then we move on to Clubhouse. Kwame Nyang's statement. You are muted. Go ahead.
شكرا لك جونكور وشكرا لأمباسادور سليمان دندرا. شكرا لشيرمان وولدين أتاك على البرزنتيشن الجميل اللي عمله. أنا كنت مستمتع بالكلام. المحاور بتاع الكلام كثيرة. نحن بنتكلم عن العنف الطائفي أو العنف المجتمعي في المنتشر في البلد. ده المحور الأول لسه ما حسمناه لحد الآن. أنا بفضل إنه أي محور نقفله ونطلع منه نخش محور ثاني. بعد المحور ده هنخش في زيارة بتاعت الرئيس للإمارات ونقول التفاصيل فيه كله وبعده نمشي لستيتمنت بتاعت كوال مانيانغ جوب جنرال كوال ودكتور إيليا لومورو وبعد كده نختم بالانتخابات ونعمل ملخص كده جميل جدا. فأنا كلامي لسه ما انتهى حول العنف المجتمعي. وسليمان دندرا يعني التعليقات الأخيرة جميلة جدا والصورة اكتملت كويس. أنا الأسبوع الفات وكده عملت البرزنتيشن جاني واحد من الشباب ما أعرف لو أذكر اسمه ما ينفع لكن الحق بتاعتهم محفوظ عندي. لأنه هو ما قاعد يتكلم في قضايا سياسية كثير ولو ذكرت اسمه ممكن يتورط ساكت. الزول ده جا قال لي يا أخي البرزنتيشن بتاعك جميل لكن كان تحدثنا عن الأهمية المادية والتاريخية عن المنطقة المتنازع عليها كويس. وده أفتكر ده اللي أنت عملته معك سليمان دندرا إنه الأهمية المادية لمنطقة بتاعت النيت. أول حاجة هي منطقة بتقع في الغابات الاستوائية يعني منطقة بتاعت توجه لهذه الشمال الأبيعي كله منطقة معروفة بتقع في الغابات الاستوائية الكثيفة المطيرة والأراضي بتاعتها زراعية. دي أراضي غنية جدا يعني خصبة جدا المنطقة دي والمنطقه دي بينتجوا منه حاجه بيسموه السمك. السمك بتاعنا الافريقي ده اللي قاعدين يسموه عربي كويس. السمك بينتج في هذه المنطقه، والاراضي الزراعيه في المنطقه صالحه لجميع المحاصيل الزراعيه بالذات سرقم الذره في هذه المنطقه. المنطقه ايضا غنيه بالبترول، يعني منطقه ربيعي ده الواطه بتاعه ده كله تحت اقدامنا هناك كلها بترول، يعني من دفره هناك كويس. يعني امسك من بانطاو هناك لحد الدفره لحد تجي ابيع جوا لحد انت خاشي مناطق بتاع تويت. حتى هذه المنطقه المتنازع عليها بين المجتمعين كلها يعني في بترول تحت الواطه، فضلا من الثروه الغابيه والحيوانيه المنتشره. بالاضافه الى هذا المنطقه تمثل يعني مركز اقتصادي، لانه نحن قبل قلنا انه في سوق موجود، والسوق ده بيلم مجتمع بتاع تويج ومجتمع بتاع نغوك، ومش تويج ونغوك بس، في ناس من اقصى وراء بيجوا بيشتغلوا بيزنس هناك. وهذه المنطقه الايرادات بتاعت السوق بتمشي لاداريه بتاعت ابيعي، وده اللي اشار له سليمان وده اللي انت اشرت له. وهذا بعد من ابعاد الصراع والتنازع على الارض. الناس ديل بيتشاكلوا في الارض وبيتشاكلوا برضه شنو في المساله بتاعت شنو بتاعت الايرادات، لانه المحافظ بتاع تويت ديل ايرادات او الناس تويت دير ناير والام بيز ديل ناس الحكومه ديل دايرين الايرادات ديل يمشوا لهم يستنفعوا. وبعدين دي قصه موجود في تاريخ الحركه الشعبيه بدري، ومن منا يعني لا يذكر مساله سوق بتاع دواراوار في شمال بحر غزال، منو ما بيذكروا كويس انه كان بيسيطر عليه جنرالات، وانه الايرادات بتاعت سوق وراوار بيدخل في الجيب بتاع جنرال معروف يعني في الاس بي ال اي كويس. فدي القضيه شنو؟ دي القضيه يعني بتاعت صراع. لكن الحصل في ابيع يا جماعه ده تهريب من قبل الحكومه انه يخلي المواطنين يشاكلوا ضدهم، وبالتالي هذه الحكومه محاسبه، وهذه الحكومه هي المدبر اقصد، هي العقل المدبر للجريمه التي ارتكبت في المنطقه. الجريمه بيتمثل في انه في ارواح الناس تم زحقها، وفي ممتلكات تم اتلافها لانه حرقوا السوق يعني. وبيعي الان بتمر بصعوبات كثيره جدا. حصل ذاته صراع ثاني نحن ما تكلمنا عنه، انه في مسيريه، يعني مسيريه ديل هاجموا ناس اول امبارح كويس، والقوات الدوليه قام اطلق النار على المواطنين. وانا رسل لي صور، يعني عندي اخوه هناك في ابيعي رسل لي صور عديل كده في مواطنين تم ضربهم بالنيران بتاع القوات الدوليه، وده المواطنين بتاع ابيعي. ده قضيه هسه مسكوت عنه كويس. ففي تطورات، لانه نحن بنتكلم عن تطورات راهنه. القضيه تطور من انه يعني في صراع بتاع الاراضي والايرادات للصراع بتاع انه مسيريه ذاته جاء عمل هجوم، والقوات الدوليه دخلت وضرب مواطنين. الكويس انه الوثائق المكاتبات اللي تم ده كلها متداوله في السوشيال ميديا، والحمد لله وقع في يدين الجماعات بتاعت حقوق الانسان في جنيف. وهذه الحكومه هيتم محاكمتها على ضوء هذه الاوراق، لانه ناس جنيفا اوراق ديل في يدينهم هسه. وده السبب تمام من الحكومه دي مجرمه، ولا بد انها ترحل يعني الان قبل غدا كويس. دل حصل في قضيه بتاع ابيعي. فافتكر لحد هنا ممكن نقفله، لكن ما قفلنا قضيه بتاع العنف. اذا اتكلمنا في قضيه بتاع العنف ما حصل في ابيعي بس، حصل في مناطق ثانيه. في ميانديد كاونتي ده كاونتي او مقاطع من مقاطعات بتاعت ولايه الوحده. في مواطنين هناك شاكلوا الشكل حول شنو؟ الشكل حول النهب بتاع الابقار، والناس يعني قتلوا بعضهم هناك. في تقارير صحفيه انا بستند عليه في هذا الموضوع، بتلقى انه قتل يعني نفر او عدد مقدر من الناس تم قتلهم. إذن ده بيعكس إنه البلد يا جماعة بصراحة كده البلد واقع في يعني سفك الدماء، وإنه العنف منتشر بين المواطنين، والحكومة هي الوراء العنف. مثلا يونيتي ستيت ده يعني الناس اللي اتقتلوا فوقه قال 19 يا قتلهم. Unity State 19 killed 24 wounded in butch cattle raid. كويس انه قتل 19 نفر والجرح 24 نفر في غارة بتاعت نهب الابقار. الحكومة ما عندها حل للكلام ده. كويس ده امسك ده من ناحية. لو انت تاني مشيت في تقارير صحفية بتلقى 17 نفر قتلوا في إدارية روين، والناس اللي قتلوا الناس دي الناس جايين من شنو؟ من ولاية الوحدة. كويس ولا حد هسه يعني في غياب للأمن في المنطقة، زي ما في غياب للأمن في أبيي، في غياب للأمن في ولاية وحدة داخلها بنفسها، وفي غياب للأمن بينها مع الجيران بتوع ناس روين ديل. والحكومة في جوبا ساكتة. في بور قبل فترة قتل شباب في قرية بيسموه بايدي. كويس شباب بيعتقد انهم يعني جايين من إدارية بتاعت بيبور. في نفس الوقت في هجمات بين ناس لونوير ومورلي. كويس في قتل في الاستوائية، في موت هناك يعني. كويس في موت هناك حاصل، والحاجة ده حاصل لأنه في اشتباكات بين يعني بين طرفين. يعني في قوات تابعة للريبلز وفي قوات تابعة للحكومة اشتبكوا، والليلة الناس جبهة الخلاص الوطني طلعوا بيان وقالوا في كلامهم انه الحكومة قائمة بهجمات سيفية. كويس كبيان يعني هم طلعوا. كويس لكن الحقيقة انهم الطرفين كلهم قاعدين بيتشاكلوا يعني، والضحايا هم المواطنين في النص. يبقى البلد قاعد ينزف في كل اتجاه. في أول الناس برضو قتلهم يعني هجمات على المسيرية برضو. كويس الناس ماتوا. والحكاية اللي حصل في رومبيك أشاروا له قبيل برضو، رغم انه كان في شهادات بحاكم بتاع رومبيك في 3 شهور المشى ولا 4 شهور المشى انه قدر يبسط الهيبة بتاع الدولة ويطبق القانون. لكن يا اخي هذه الحكومة يعني مهما طبقت القانون الحاجة دي ما بتستمر، بيجي بنهار تاني والناس بيرجعوا وبينزلقوا للفوضى من جديد. انا ما بقصد انه يعني انصف الجميل بتاع الحاكم رين توين مبور، لكن ده حقائق، دي حقائق يجب ان تقال. والبلاد ظلت تقاتل نفسها بنفسها منذ ان قدمت الحركة الشعبية الى سدة الحكم في 2005 حتى هذه اللحظة. المواطنين يا جماعة ظلوا يقاتلون انفسهم. كويس والحكومة عمل مبادرات، جميع المبادرات. كويس مبادرات مشتركة مع اليو ان، وهذه المبادرات لم تنجح. كويس عشان كده قاعد يتم دراما الآن، في دراما الآن قاعد يتم من قبل الحكومة يا جماعة، في مسرحية قاعد يتم. ومبارح دين ألور كويس وألينا ين أليو وتور دين موين والأعضاء بتاع البرلمان من منطقة بيئة قعدوا كويس وناقش انه اللي حصل في ابيي ده لازم يتم ايقافه، وانه ما يكون في تصعيد وما يكون في توتر بين المواطنين. هذا في رايي بعتبره ده دراما، لانه هؤلاء النفر الذين اجتمعوا في جوبا كلهم تابعين لهذه الحكومه، والحكومه هي التي وراء ما حدث في منطقه النيل او منطقه الغوق. فكيف تجلس هذه الحكومه وتقدم مسرحية لأبناء شعب السودان الجنوبي بأنها عايزة تهل الموضوع؟ فأنا في رأيي ده بشوفه ده دراما، والحكومة دي عاجزة عن هل منذ 2005 حتى 2022. الأسبوع اللي فات أنا كنت في مواجهة مع العضو البرلماني شبور جوج علي لما جاء في روم وجا قال لنا يا اخي الحل لقضيه ابيي ده انه يكون في مؤتمر جامع يتم بين تويج ونقوق. انا قلت له انت وحكومتك الى مزبله التاريخ. انا قلت له بالحرف كده، لانه انا شايف كلامه ده كله ده دراما. يا اخي الناس ليج ستيت ديل عمل لهم مؤتمرات كم مره. استاذ جونكور ارجعوا للاحصائيات على المؤتمرات اللي تم. Go back to the census of the community conferences or peace conferences that have been organized and conducted by the government of the Republic of South Sudan in collaboration with the UN. لكن ما حصل أي حاجة، لسه الدم بيسفك. ده كله شنو؟ مسرحية. كويس؟ آخر حاجة الرئيس ختم بالتصريح اللي أنت ذكرته قبل، إنه الجيش بسيط بتاع الفضل ده أنا بحوط به نفسي، وأنا ما برسل لكم بوليس ولا شرطة تاني ولا كوميتي. بعد كده اتشاكلوا. الزول انتصروا عليه وجرى جاني هنا في جوبا، بعد كده انا بجي شنو بنقذه، وتاني ما يتكلم زي راجل. ده كان كلام الرئيس، وكلام ده قال شهر 3 سنة 2021 في مؤتمر يعتقد بأنه مؤتمر سلام تم تنظيمه من قبل الحكومة في جوبا لعقد ليكون في سلام والمصالحة بين المجتمعات الثلاثة، المجتمع بتاع البيبور ومجتمع بتاع اللونوير ومجتمع بتاع الجين بتاع البور. كويس؟ هسه رئيس الجمهورية ده ساكت، ما خلاص صرح بالمود يوم ده انه تشاكلوا زي ما انتم عايزين. كيف ما يسافر للامارات العربية المتحدة ويخلي الناس قاعدين بينزفوا؟ كيف ما يسافر وهو اصلا صرح لهم بالمود؟ وامباسادور سليمان قبل شوية قالوا بالحرف انه الذين صرحوا بالقتل في منطقة بتاع دبيعي ديل البرلمانيين ديل 19 ديل اللي وقعوا على الوثيقة. يبقى المود الحصل في أبيعي مصنوع بأيدي حكومية. ما يحدث في الجنجلية يتم برضا من الحكومة، ما يحدث في شمال بحر غزال يتم برضا من الحكومة، لأن النائب الرئيس حسين عبد الباقي قام من قبل ودفع ملايين الدولارات للمسيرية تعويضا لضحاياهم، ولم يحاسب المسيرية على الذين قتلوهم من أبناء الدنكا. هذه الحكومة يا جماعة، ده الحكومة. كويس؟ الضحايا بتاع المسيرية تم تعويضهم بملايين الدولارات بتاع الدولة، بينما مسيرية قتلوا آلاف من أبناء الدنكا مالوال، وما في زول جم من حكومة السودان ودفع ملايين الدولارات عشان يعوض به الضحايا. هذه هي عقلية بتاع الحكومة يا جماعة. يبقى نحن أمام يعني فشل كبير جدا جدا. أيوة
أستاذ أيد معلش بالمقاطعة. أنا طبعا أنا أخذنا 3 ساعات في هنا ومفروض نعمل ترانزيشن from now on. معلش بالمقاطعة، نمشي للكلاب هاوس.
خلاص نمشي نتم باقي الكلام هنا.
يا نمشي نتم باقي الكلام هناك. يا
أستاذ جونكور، أنا كنت داير أقول نقطة صغيرة أستاذ دينديد نشوف لو بيقدر يوضح أكثر. طبعا السرد اللي انتم سردتوه عن الفايلنس الحاصل في جنوب السودان حاليا، طبعا على حسب التطورات في التكنولوجيز today قدرنا نفضح انه الحكومة هي وراء الحياة دي. تفتكر مثلا يعني لو ما كان التكنولوجي والتواصل الاجتماعي over social media وكده، يعني هل ممكن الناس ممكن كان حتتقاتل مثلا أبيعي وبعدين في مياديب، يعني كان ممكن شنو يتشابكوا؟ يعني لو ما كان التواصل بتاع السوشيال ميديا والناس طبعا قدرت تفضح انه الحاجه دي جايه من حكومه، يعني ما من اخوانهم اللي هو ما من أبيعي ولا من ستريت مياردي. the same thing اللي حصل في جنجلة. يعني لو ما كانت كده، يعني إنه قدرنا ولا الناس قدرت تفضح الحكومة، ما كانت الناس شاكرت في بعضها. فده السؤال أنا كنت داير أديه لأستاذ دينيد. يعني
شكرا.
الحاجة دي يعني خطر شديد.
يا شكرا أستاذ أيوان، شكرا جزيلا. وأستاذ دينيد with that I think we wanted to move. لأنه أنا عندي كمان other commitment أنا I promise إنه يكون 3 hours في فيسبوك and then we go to Clubhouse. فمعلش لو أنا قاطعت هنا but let's go. This is a very very important question actually. You and Salat وداير لها الإجابة and get prepared أستاذ ول, and I want you guys to see you there Moses as well, and then we continue there. Okay.
Okay, bye. See you there.
شكرا يا نمشي ل Clubhouse.
Okay, we'll get there. Ustaz the Jonkor.
Thank you. With that, I really appreciate, whoever tuned in tonight and watch Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. We are transition now to Clubhouse and continue the rest of the program. Thank you so much and have a good night.